Yeah, go on.
Cool. I think we're live. Yeah.
Yes.
Should be good. So, welcome, guys. It's Jukes Lounge. Very, very special guest today. We've got Callum, the founder of TitanX, the new protocol coming to build on TitanX and launching more in the Inferno ecosystem. Yeah, man, very grateful to have this opportunity. It's my first stream, so bear with me, guys. If we have any technical issues, I hope it's all going to be smooth, of course. But yeah, Callum, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. It feels good to be on the other side of the interview. I'm not used to this, to actually be on the other side, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, same.
And it's cool you're getting into streaming as well. It's really cool you're getting into streaming. Like,
well, yeah, go on.
Sounds like you're in a similar position to me. Like, you were just in the ecosystem, spending a lot of time like trying to understand everything. I feel like it's like a stepping stone to get into the streamers because it's such a good way to learn. Just going on with founders and reaching out to people. It's just,
especially, bro, like especially when you get on the builders and other people who are, because I know we're all in this boat where we're constantly like every day, every night, you're thinking about TitanX, tokenomics, you probably have dreams of tokenomics, you know what I mean? Like dreams of the chart and stuff. So it's cool just to sit down with someone and just talk, bro. Like, I know this is like an interview, but it's also going to be just chill. So
and that's what I love about TitanX. Like all the founders I've spoke to, that everyone's so chill, easy to speak to. It's really positive vibes. Like we're just lucky to be here. I think we were speaking about it just before in the back rooms, but
yeah,
we're privileged to be here. Yeah,
we're so privileged to be here, man. It's insane. Like we were saying, like where we are right now is crypto. I've called it like a DeFi renaissance. Like it's like a evolution of crypto. Like just it's like a masterclass on tokenomics where we are, bro. And it's wicked. Yeah,
it's amazing. Like it's the first time, it feels like, I don't even know how, but it's the first time buy and burns and all these different tokenomics that are coming in, everything that Vault's done, Element 280, the LP webs, all of this is being done really for the first time in TitanX, and it's all benefiting TitanX. Like how lucky are we to be here before it goes absolutely, it explodes.
Man. It feels like, have you ever cooked in a pressure cooker? You know what I mean? It's like that pressure builds up. Yeah, I don't know what that was. But when like you're building, if you're cooking a pressure cooker, well, the pressure builds up and you hear this whistle, like this whistle sound.
Okay.
And then, if you're not careful with it, it pops and we're on that level.
I like that.
I know a bad story with that though. Someone opened it and it popped and food was everywhere. So yeah, anyway.
That's what's going to be TitanX, but instead of food going out, it's just going to be green candles.
It's going to be green candles, and there's going to be people tweeting about their Roy everywhere, which is the goal. Yeah, so let's get into it, bro. How do you feel about the recent? Actually, before we get there, let me just ask you a bit about yourself because I'm trying to get to know you as well. So what got you into crypto? Like, how did you get on this journey? What was the catalyst that started the whole crypto?
Yeah, so I got in just before the last cycle, before the top. So I was kind of like got in, watched my portfolio grow, and then obviously watched it come all the way back down. And I think that taught me a lot. Like I'm kind of thankful. I mean, obviously, I wish I sold, but I'm kind of thankful because it makes you learn really quickly what crypto is all about and how volatile it can be upwards and downwards. And then all through the bear market, I was just trying to find different cryptos, researching. I'm sure what everyone else has done in the past, watching loads of videos, trying to learn as much as you can. Yeah, and then I came across TitanX in literally like a 30-second clip of Carl Chase, this guy that just makes general crypto videos. And it was literally a 30-second clip. And he was like, oh, go check this out. And he wasn't even talking about TitanX's project. He was talking more about Jake and that, like, basically saying this guy knows what he's doing. Like, it seems like he's onto something. And I was like, yeah, go on, I'll give it a go. And then I watched the white paper video that Jake had, and I was just hooked.
So were you not from the Pulse Chains then ecosystems, or so you're completely in the different space then?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that's good to see. It
was about day 30 that I got in for TitanX, around there. So it was just before that second big wave came in, if you remember. Yeah. How about yourself? How did you get into TitanX?
Yeah, man. Crypto? So and crypto. So we spoke a little bit about it before we went on. I got into crypto literally at the top of last cycle. Like I didn't even get gains, bro. It was brutal. I didn't get gains. I didn't get gains, man. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Without going into too much details, like I kind of knew people who were in crypto and in some crypto projects, and you know, at the top, everyone's euphoric, right? Like they're just like, this is the most insane
It's
thing ever.
crazy. You don't even think about it going down. It's really bad. Like the
You don't.
euphoric feeling that comes over. And that's why I think an exit strategy is so important.
So
100%.
important, bro.
Yeah.
You have to
Sorry.
plan out. Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, we they ended up like kind of getting me to this project, and just completely rugged to like completely went to zero, and that was brutal. But now I'm in the headspace of like, this could change my life. Like that's my headspace, right? Like this could change my life. So just literally carried on researching it, and actually my family into crypto as well. So but kind of all researching at the same time, when we stumbled across, I think it must have been, I can't remember the exact YouTube channel, but Richard Hart did an interview with, was it Link Up TV? I don't know if you've seen it, but he did the interview with them, and it was around the time of Pulsec sacrifice, and basically just got into it there. Back then, I was a noob, you know, like, to make an analogy to chess, you know, like if you're a low elo chess player, you see a queen, you attack the queen. It's like that.
Yeah.
You see like something's done good gains, and you're like, oh, this new thing.
Jump on it.
Yeah, basically just jump on it, right? Like, obviously not saying that couldn't do good, but back then it was just like Hex did so well, so this obviously has to do well. That's just logical, right? Yeah, so we got into that and invested throughout the whole bear market. Like, bro, the strategy was so bad. What you should do is don't invest in the bear market. Hold your cash when it's the bottom or very close to the bottom, or the coin you're interested in is already down 95% or something. Then invest. But obviously back then we weren't.
Oh, were you
smart.
investing on the way
Bro,
down? Like,
I was investing that you know, they're like, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip.
yeah,
You know, it keeps dipping. It keeps dipping.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a
yeah,
good strategy though, because it's so hard to time it. But when it keeps going down and down and down,
is.
especially if you were was it Hex that you were looking at?
It was Hex, yeah. DCA all the way down on Hex. But I still managed to play it all right, actually. I got out unscathed.
Nice.
So yeah, I got through that bridge early. If anyone is there on Pulse Chain, they know that bridge when the bridge to Pulse Chain opened. Like everyone tried to get through at the same time and it was basically stuck. I was a lucky guy. I got through early, so I got really good prices on everything. So what can I say?
Nice.
But yeah, that's basically how I got here. And then Jake was in the Pulse Chain thing. And he was, I always liked him. I always thought the guy speaks a lot of like, you're just very smart guy. And so yeah, just basically just followed him. And then when he started tweeting about TitanX, I was like, this is really cool. So I got in a Telegram probably before it was 1,000. I don't know when, but it was before 1,000 followers.
So before launch,
but yeah, pre-launch.
Nice.
So day one, miners, and yeah, man, it was good. I'm really glad I did it. My mining strategy was good because I did like instead of doing just max miners, I did like a ladder.
Yeah.
And we all know the early TitanX compounding game.
It's insane.
It was insane, man. It was actually crazy. So I was very lucky to catch that.
I was doing similar. I was doing the ladder, but I found so I did some 30-day ones, and they did really, really well. Like I think it was like 500% return, and I was like, oh shit! So I just recycled that, but a lot of my ladder was actually not profitable. It was only
really?
when Did you not find that throughout? I would say like from day 100 probably onwards. I would only say the end, maybe because I didn't get a good T rank. Maybe
I think what I did was, so I think I did like mostly long, and then I did a few short ones at the initial like first day of mining, and the long ones were good for the beginning. The short ones were just insane. Like I think I did post it. I actually disclosed on Twitter like one of my miners like 10x my early day, and then I recompounded it. And I just compounded these short ones, and then what I did was I did the compounds, but I kind of knew like people were gonna catch on to this, so I did longer compounds over a longer period of time instead of just like for example, like 1 month. Like I was like, let's compound this one 2 months.
Yeah.
So I did something like that, and it worked out quite well. Quite well. Obviously, I held through the dip, so we went on a huge correction on the price chart, and I just held through the dip. I just knew that I just knew that there's going to be a little bit of a dip, and then we're going to come back. And I was anticipating day 280 was going to be a crazy day, big dumping, and it wasn't. So I was even on holiday. Like I was like, I might just want to sit this one out, wait for the price chart to get back to normal. And then no, it didn't. It just went crazy. So
you know what? I actually did the opposite. I started buying Dragon X heavily just before day 280 because my logic was, I mean, the sentiment was good. Everyone was waiting. I was like, okay, I don't see even people that are going to get TitanX out now. Why would they want to dump when the sentiment's this good? Plus, people that do get TitanX and want to stay in, they're probably just going to buy Dragon X. That was my logic back then. And I was like, I would prefer to get in at like whatever base layer this is and gamble and try and get in like at a lower price. I just, you know what I mean? And that was like one of the best decisions I made by far.
That must have been an amazing, absolutely amazing position. I got in early on Dragon as well, like mint phase, and I held through mint. I had just held I minted 1-to-1. I held, and then I did buy some more as well, but I didn't buy back at 1-to-1. I think I bought back at around 5-to-1.
That's good. That's really good.
Still ended up to be good.
Yeah, it was insane that Dragon X run up. I don't know when you started watching the chart, but it was. I remember being in my car and just checking. You know, we just check the chart and like glance at it. I remember glancing and I was like, hope like it was. It had that crazy pump, and I was like, fucking hell, this is insane.
It's so insane that you just carry on checking like every 5 seconds.
I try not to be honest. I get that is like that's where I fell victim, I think, last cycle, because I just got emotionally connected to the charts and waiting for like high numbers. I just try not to. But I understand, when it's like pumping, you're like, I want to check.
When it's like when you're like early in something and then it starts to pop off, that's when it's like it's hard to really disconnect your mind from the chart. At least that's what I found.
Yeah.
But this all happened when I was on holiday, like I said, because this happened. I think Dragon started pumping around day 280, right?
Yeah. I can't remember. I think so. Yeah.
I think it was around that time, and like I was on holiday, and the whole holiday was crypto. Like I tried to escape the crypto, and it came and found me again. Like the crypto found me, bro.
How did you feel during that kind of down period of TitanX when the dark days when no one was really talking about it?
Bro.
There was a lot of hate. Yeah,
there was a lot of hate.
Yeah. How are you feeling back then?
I always knew like things are just gonna pick up. I know how things are. Everything is like a lot of people are very, very emotional in this game, obviously, because we're dealing with money.
Yeah.
And you kind of just know like green candles just ignites the bullishness again. Like it's only so much down it can go. So there was this guy I followed. I forgot his name, but he posts like these TitanX stat predictions, supply predictions. Okay. And it's just based off the current price, the amount of buy and burns we have. So when I was looking at that, I was like, at this price, there's going to be no supply left. You know?
Okay.
So it's kind of like it has to go up. You know what I mean? And then you can, I mean, look, back then it was difficult, but you just have to look at the logic and try to, detach a little bit from the emotional side.
Yeah, I think everyone had that light bulb moment when they were looking at either the buy and burns, or for me it was I got a big payout from like a lot of my miners came out in around June, and I remember max staking them. Just like they came out at night, and I max staked them because I was like, oh, I just leave it and get rewards. And then I woke up in the middle of that night, and I was like, why did I not just put that into Dragon X? And then from there, I was like, because I knew they were getting a huge payout, and I thought if no one brought, they're still getting that payout for the 369. And I think everyone has that light bulb moment, like you just said, where they look at the numbers and they figure it out in their head instead of being more scared and more negative. It's like they figure it out.
Yeah, Dragon X had an interesting launch. It was actually like really hated. And I can see why. I mean, bro, even I made stakes just before Dragon X came out.
Yeah.
So Shogun's coming.
Oh, just before it came out, like
bro, like before it was announced, type thing. Yeah, I think it got announced relatively quickly after I max staked quite a nice amount. So yeah, just
I
I
mean, it
think a lot
was
of people were upset.
yeah.
But then you got to see the bright side of it. ETH was leaving the ecosystem. It keeps it in the ecosystem. Yeah.
I think it obviously it makes sense, and
Mm.
Jake supporting it with the Genesis made sense because all the Ethereum was just leaving the ecosystem. He wants to make sure that it is contained within TitanX, but it sucks for people that did have stakes, and I think that's where all the hate came from, wasn't it? Being diluted to a
Yeah.
massive degree, especially
I think
by
I think people felt
Genesis.
diluted. I think there was a lot of people saying that, especially whales were a bit upset, obviously because they put in probably a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
But then I don't know how. I mean, I'm not like one of those like on blockchain analysis guys, but I think people were saying that they were just taking a lot of ETH outside the ecosystem. And there was a lot of discussion back then. But Eric went from hated to loved.
Same
Very
as Jake.
crazy,
It's
isn't it?
been
Oh yeah, Jake.
insane.
Yeah,
It's been insane
yeah,
in such a short period of
yeah.
time. It's like completely 180 flipped.
It
And
has.
we went from nothing. I remember looking at TragonX and it was 1.1 million market cap. And I was
Wow,
like, yeah. And like
wow.
even I remember even watching an interview with Eric, and I'm sure he wasn't going to leave and carry on with TitanX, but I remember him saying he like wanted to go and build on post chain more than anything, and like he was going to do that. So in my head, I was like, oh, is he leaving DragonX as well? That's what I was
Wow.
thinking. Is he leaving?
Yeah,
I think like it's crazy the flip that's happened, and now everyone's
so crazy. Like
yeah.
it's and it's I feel like our perspective on the protocol has changed so much. When it first came out, I was very much like, it's an insane protocol. We have all this buy and burn, we have insane tokenomics. But what's really happened now is the community have become almost like the biggest asset. You know, like whenever we're sitting through a dip, a lot of people post about like how much the buy and burns have in their like dollar value. But the community is still here. They're still building, even if they're silent. All these builders are building, like yourself, and they're all innovating, bro. Like it's just crazy. So I think the community we have now has made TitanX just like, it's a tokenomic you can't program. Do you know what I mean? Like the community is a tokenomic you can't program, but when you have it, it's insane. Like where we're gonna go is ridiculous.
And it is all the community. I think back when TitanX was, in that period of low and there was like barely anyone talking about it and low hype. If no projects launched, I think that could have been a Black Swan event when TitanX kind of like disappeared for a bit. Like it would not be as big as now. I think the community makes it. And now we have so many people building, even if there are massive dips, there's still people building, which is always going to generate interest and always going to generate eyes. Because when I did my stream with Jake, he said, I was like, what's the one Black Swan event? It was like, if people lose interest. But all these new protocols, I just don't see that happening, which is so bullish.
Here we
Mo!
go, Mo. That is insane.
Hey, man, I feel really bad. I'm not well dressed at all. Both of you guys are showing me up. Shit.
You do get the memo. Come on, Mo.
I don't know. I don't have the damn it. All right. Hey, shout out. I just wanted to say congratulations to joining the streamer world. And I want to get on and just say what's up, man.
Oh, man, thank you, man. It's been an inspiration watching you and your journey, man. I mean, the video started in the back of the car, and now it's popped off, man. So congratulations. Yeah.
You know, it's on. To be honest, the only reason I did it was because not a lot of people were, and I was getting so many questions in my DMs. I was like, well, maybe I'll just make a video. And so now we're at this point where everyone's, jumping on and making videos, and now we got new streamers. You're jumping on, so this is exactly what we've all been waiting for.
It's insane. Awesome. Like, yeah, Mo was there from the start. So this guy's like a diamond in the community, man.
Hey, you've been there since the start, so it's awesome to see you doing this, man. I love it. This is awesome.
Yeah, back then, Mo, though, when everyone had kind of like, I remember just seeing hate, but it was people like you, Smooth and Crypto, making content that I think kept a lot of people engaged in the ecosystem, because it was like bringing everyone together. So you've done an amazing job. And right now as well, I swear you haven't missed a day of streaming for weeks. I see you streaming all the time.
There's one or two. I feel lazy because I don't actually host a stream every day, but I'll make sure that I try and jump on a stream every day.
It's
amazing. It feels like if I don't do it, I'm
the work ethic.
Mo is relentless with it, man. Relentless.
Hey, well, you guys are taking the torch, and that's exactly what needs to be done. So hats off to you guys. Callum, you're doing a great job. I can't wait for Phoenix to get going. I need to stream with you on Phoenix. We've only talked behind the scenes about that. So can't wait to actually have a public conversation about that. But Yeah, no, this is awesome. You guys are killing it, and you guys are setting the standards for how to dress on stream. And I'm fucking failing you.
Bro, it was Callum that started it, and I was like, gotta get on it. You know what I mean?
You're gonna regret it. It gets really hot.
I don't even have a suit.
Mo, we're gonna get you one.
We'll get you one, Mo. Don't worry.
We'll get the
100Xs. Yeah.
At the top of the ball, you're gonna come to Savile Row in central London. We'll invite you.
Okay.
You're gonna get custom made suit, bro.
Bet. Let's go. I'm not getting suits in America. I'm going all the way there to get a suit. Let's go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Man.
I love it.
Mo,
one question. How do you feel about the dip we've just had? The huge dip and obviously the correction back up. What are your thoughts about TitanX? Has anything changed for you?
You want my sarcastic answer or you want my real answer?
Real answer.
Real answer. I was kind of surprised it happened. But you know, I mean, this is not my first cycle, so I've been through an entire bear market. So, you know, to even watch, you know, say something dips 70 or 80% in some sort of a, you know, a flash sell-off, that's crypto, man. It happens. And the really exciting thing is to watch how quickly these dips get eaten up. So, you know, does it suck when you're on a red day? Yeah, man, I feel it. I'm not, you know, pumping my fists in the air on a red day like I am on green candle days. But, you know, hey, it's part of the territory. So,
yeah. Especially with the V1 turned on for one day and it burned 150 billion in one day.
That I was very surprised about that. I thought he was going to hold that into reserve for almost forever. And I think maybe he did it almost as like a, hey, don't forget.
This
bad boy on
It kind of makes people second guess their sales as well. You know what I mean? Like they're like, I'm gonna sell, but like, is he gonna switch on that V1? You don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, do you want to sell if there's a possible $10 million, you know, dollars worth of buys coming, or even more, depending on what the price of ETH is at the time? Yeah, it's awesome. But I think what's funny about that is when people were pointing out that day, that was when I had to have the realization. I don't know how many months it's been since I even looked at the V1 to see what the levels were at, because I don't care. And that's insane that we're at that point. But we have so many projects that there's so many other buy and burns that I generally don't care what the original TitanX buy and burns at anymore. It doesn't really have any bearing of the future. It's just like icing on the cake that we already have, you know. So
that's what I mean. I feel like there's been a big shift in focus. I feel like at the start, everyone was like, buy and burn is the only way the supply is going to shrink. But I feel like what we've seen in the last run, literally, we've had is how much bot protocols have completely taken over the game in TitanX. And it's only going to get crazier. Like I said it like quite a while ago. I made a tweet saying people are going to, one day when you go to TitanX stats page, they're going to see that it's the build on TitanX protocols that have burnt or like taken off most supply more than buy and burn. And I feel like we're seeing that. It's really, it's catching up, and Shogun's coming out soon. And I feel like that's end game. You know what I mean?
Big stream tomorrow. I think Jake, Crypto Kindness, and Joe Paris are doing a stream. I can't wait for that.
That should be a massive stream. Shout out to Crypto Kindness for starting it not before I wake up, because he's wherever he is, he starts streams well before I ever wake up, and I'm like, oh, I missed another stream. But he's starting right at the perfect time, so I'm gonna get up a little early and get ready.
Yeah. I always miss streams because I'm always out. Like there's always something going on. So I'm going to miss it, but I'll have to come back. And it's going to be an all-nighter watching.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Shogun this month, or do you think it's going to be December?
Oh, good question.
I think it might be ready to be launched like the 20th. People are saying the 28th because it's done, I think one audit started literally a week ago. Well, it depends how many audits Jake does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly he gets this done now.
I know.
I think Jake is a smart guy. I know he likes his numbers and his launch dates with numbers. Also, if we're just speculating, he could just be waiting to see what people do with their supply. I feel like whenever there's an expectation of a day, there may be a run up in price, expecting something to come out. So, I think Jake is just gonna watch what people do, and I think that guy's really smart, bro. That guy, I have a feeling Jake in his room, he has like a whiteboard where like all the wallets like tracking their accounts, like with like the map going everywhere, like you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny you say that because he always said that Shogun he was going to kind of hold in his back pocket as a possible whale killer in case whales started to try and mess with the system. He's like, I can always just bust Shogun out and just nuke them. So it'll be really awesome to see what he does.
Yeah.
I guess I'm leaning towards possible 28th or 26th or something like that. Just because I think I was surprised, and a lot of people were surprised that X28 didn't happen on the 28th. You're like, oh, okay. Well, then what's coming out on the 28th? Something's has to come out on the 28th. So, maybe not. Maybe 28th is 10 days away. I haven't looked at the TitanX premium stats page in a couple days, but I do know that we still have about like 8 trillion in unstakes coming over the next 2 weeks, and that's the last of it pretty much. I think after that you have maybe like 1.5 trillion that unstake for the rest of the year. So the next 10, 14 days, I think, is sort of the last of the big unlocks. I get almost every prediction wrong, but I would think that you would wait until after those to drop Shogun.
Yeah, makes the most sense, doesn't it?
So, I was kind of thinking a couple of days ago, I was like, oh, any day. Especially when he went all radio silent and everybody's like, it's been 4 days. He hasn't spoken. And then today I feel like he tweeted and be like, yeah, I'm tweeting. I'm still.
Yeah.
Bro, I get excited when he goes silent, man.
I know.
I like it. He's cooking, bro.
As soon as he stops getting on streams with me, I'm like, oh, something's happening.
Something's going down.
Something's happening. Yeah.
Mo, are you going to be burning your original stake then for
no.
Shogun? No? You keeping it?
No.
I'm debating.
Same.
Well, I said it at a time in which I almost ROI'd right when Dragon X entered. And so like when that what was it, the 88-day payout, that one almost ROI'd me. So the day, 369 payout ROI'd me. It's free. So for me, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that as a leverage on if mining ever does pick up. I have a free passive income supply coming from the payouts.
You don't need
that. If it doesn't,
you got Blaze.
Oh well,
Blaze is better.
No, yeah, that's true. I'm not relying on it. It's just sort of like I think of it as an extra bonus. Like if it's free passive money, and that could even be like, even just more than a small amount. To me, that's worth it. Just keeping it there and seeing where it goes. Because I'd be really curious to see where this goes, through more than one cycle. What happens? What happens with the cost of ETH and the difficulty of mining when we go back down in a bear market? Maybe ETH takes a huge nosedive. Maybe all of a sudden mining picks back up in the bear market. Who knows? There's so many different facets to this that you really don't know. So for me, I don't have a significant amount at this point in time in max stakes. So I'll probably just let it ride. But who knows? Maybe he suckers me in with a really good ROI on the Shogun, and I'm like, fuck it. No, I'm doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Will you be participating in Shogun though, Mo? Is the question.
Oh, 100%. I will participate in Shogun.
So you could.
I'll just get new stuff to use it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll use fresh powder.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, I'm getting to the point now where I don't want to use. I heard R2R on a stream with James be like, He's like, I don't like taking part in the new protocols anymore. He's like, not so much because I don't want to, but because I don't want to use my TitanX. He's like, so I need to just use fresh powder every time I want to get in a new protocol because I don't want to give up my TitanX. And that's kind of what I am too. I'm like, okay, every future protocol that I want to get into, maybe I can find some way to come up with a couple $100 extra in fresh powder, and then I'll enter in that way. But I definitely don't want to keep giving up my TitanX because I believe in it so heavily long-term that it's, I was having a conversation off stream with Erwin last night, and I was talking about the dog. I had to do a surgery on the dog's leg earlier in the year, and it was $8,000 with the TitanX that I G'd out, and it was almost the bottom. And that $8,000 now would be $26,000 now. And I'm like, so like every time I have to like trim out TitanX, I'm trimming out future X's, and so I don't want to do that anymore. So, so.
But you
I'm absolutely taking part in Shogun. But
yeah. The way I look at it, though, because I am similar, because you know that TitanX is valuable and you want to have some, but you have to think, how much is this project going to outperform TitanX if it's going to outperform TitanX? That's the way I kind of weigh it up in my head, and then slowly try and get out to get back my TitanX, and then let the rest kind of ride. But that's like a very dangerous game to play, to be honest.
There's almost
it
like
is,
this,
and just remember, when it comes to that, once you're getting that far away from TitanX, you're hitting more risk, because there's going to be much more volatility in that. And I mean, unless you can stomach the risk and oh, I'm holding this like totally long term, then that the risk of being that far out might be a little too much for those possible rewards you get. High risk equals high rewards, but high rewards also come with high risk. So just be careful. That's all I'll say. So for me, the fresh powder way is my way of sort of mitigating that. And like, if I put $200 in fresh powder in something, well, whatever, that would be like me just getting into something with $200. I don't really care how risky it is, because I've already sort of accepted that with the $200 in the first place. But if you want me to pony up my TitanX, I'm like, we'll see.
It's kind of like what early Bitcoin dudes, like mining Bitcoin for 50 Bitcoins per block, and then they probably just cheated it on like some next small gains. And it's like, oh man, if you held on to that, because like TitanX could legit go like crazy hyperdeflationary, especially with X28 and Shogun, the way he's made it work. And it's like, we all know it's going to go hyperdeflationary. So it's like letting go of something that's just going to disappear. Like it's going to literally, there's going to be an extermination on TitanX, man. It's a hard decision to make.
You gave me a funny thought right there. All those Bitcoin miners from back in the day. Like, think about back then running into one of those guys. We don't know what's happening in the future. And back then, you're running into one of those guys. He's like, I'm mining Bitcoin, but I'm not selling any of these. I'm going into debt though, heavy, to pay for all this electricity that I'm paying for. And then years later, you'd be like, that was the smartest motherfucker I ever ran into in my life. Like, yeah, all those Bitcoins you were mining, just selling off to pay for your costs.
Bro.
Yeah. I sold $8,000 worth of TitanX for a dog surgery that's now worth $27,000. I'm like,
But you have to try and forget about it, because as TitanX goes higher, that number's just going to keep growing, and you're going to get even more annoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Never look at money that you could have made as lost money. Otherwise, you'll get into a really bad mental mindset, and you'll just start cheating left and right and trying to chase everything. But hey, I don't want to steal the stream. I wanted to just come on and give you congratulations for joining the streamer ranks.
No, that's cool, man. I'm more than happy to have you here, man. Like anytime, jump on. Like, it's all good.
Get you in the. Are you in the streamer chat? Get him in the streamer chat.
We'll get added. We'll get added.
Okay. For sure.
Yeah.
We'll drop links anytime anyone's streaming. Hop on any of ours for sure.
Invite.
Thank
you.
All right.
Take care.
See ya.
It's great to have you.
Carry on.
What a legend.
Wow, what a legend, man.
He honestly was back when, like, he was one of the only people making videos.
Yeah.
I think was like a big impact.
The start of it, really. Like, I just remember he would do, I think, like, was it a weekly or a daily TitanX update?
Yeah.
And back then it was like probably a 5-minute video. He'll be like in his car. And then, like, everything almost happened at a great time, because I feel like his streams really started popping off. Titan started really popping off. Dragon started popping off. The whole community now was just expanded. It's gone crazy. So yeah, man.
And it's like working up. Like, he's being consistent, loyal to TitanX, and he's being rewarded, because I would say he's the biggest streamer probably, or one of them. And the most consistent as well. So
definitely, because definitely very consistent. Definitely very big.
You have to respect the man.
You know, when the Mo's streaming, it's going to be a good one. So.
yeah. Sure.
What a guy. I can't even remember where we're at, bro. Like, where were we?
I can't remember, but yeah, someone's talking in the chat about imagine mining 1,000 Bitcoin a day back in 2012. Do you kind of feel like TitanX is going to be on a similar trajectory with how Bitcoin was? Do you think we are going to be sat here watching these streams back and being like, how lucky were we?
Well, obviously not financial advice. I think it could go insane. I think it could generally go crazy. Like I said, like TitanX and the whole ecosystem is DeFi on steroids. It's like people calling it DeFi 2.0, 3.0. And what Jake has done with the buy and burn game is you kind of have a base value that's backing the project. That's always going to be there. And I think from a user perspective, like one thing that's underrated about TitanX is how great the user experience is whenever you're on the dApps. You can see the ROI on miners. You can, even if the ROI is negative, okay, you can buy off market and you can see, hold on, there's like $15 million in this contract that's just buying. Like, imagine I told you, brother, I know a millionaire, he's going to buy this coin every single day. Actually, maybe twice every hour or something, and he's never going to sell it. What is that going to do to people, you know, like from a psychological perspective? So TitanX gives people a way to almost evaluate some sort of value in their head and then get in, and it's fully decentralized. So I think we could really take off like big style. I'm very curious to see what happens next cycle. Obviously, bear market to bear markets, so everything kind of drops. But what's going to happen when ETH is 20 grand?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how far we drop. I think that's going to have a big tell, because Jake says that a lot. Everything obviously goes down massively in the bear market, but it's how far does it go down, and then how quickly does it kind of
I think the interesting thing is, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard people say that Binance Chain did like a backdoor buy and burn. They just bought their own tokens. And I think they did quite surprisingly well during the bear market. So
this is my theory about the V1, and I've said this on streams before. I think Mo was saying you don't even need it. All the projects, all the bot protocols are doing amazing. Yeah, exactly. And if you're Jake or whoever's controlling the V1, you're looking for TitanX longevity. I don't think you care about one cycle. I think you care about the cycle after and making sure it survives. So why would you not keep that ETH until the bottom of the bear market, switch it on and burn a shit ton of the supply at the lows? And then that's like
makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's the way I think about it. But maybe he turns it on this cycle. But I think the way we're going is going to make sense, and that's just going to it's going to be worth a lot. And it's in ETH. ETH's obviously drops, but that makes the most sense for me.
It's crazy.
Like an insurance policy.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's crazy. I think if you think about buy and burn, one of the there's like pros and cons to it. One of the somewhat cons of buy and burn is that obviously the higher the price, the less effective it is, right? So that means it's actually the most effective at the bottom, and it's most effective in the bear market when prices are really low. So, you know, Jake, he times he called the cycle bottom on the day, and this guy knows what he's doing. I'm sure when the cycle is low again, when the prices are low again, he's gonna have a trick up his sleeve, whether it's V1, whether it's V5 by then, we don't know. There's going to be something to it. I definitely think it's true that buy and burn is very effective at the bottom.
Yeah, but even if he doesn't turn it on the bottom and he turns it on around this time, I don't know, soon, it's still going to have a huge impact. I think that's even more bullish because it's like this cycle, it's going to go even crazier with all of that being. But in my head, it's like you're looking for the longevity of your project. You want it to survive. You have this insurance policy that you can wait. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. And it'll always be kind of like a narrative in people's heads. Like, even if price drops in the bear market, everyone, again, is going to be thinking there's V1 just sitting there. Like, it's just literally going to buy your bags for you. And it's always going to be a narrative there. People are going to have in the back of their heads, they're going to go to TitanX.win. They're going to open up that buy and burn page, and they're just going to see there's like, if ETH is 10 grand by then, it's like, there's like so much money in here, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's literally, like I said, it gives people a way of evaluating the system.
Yeah, and where else can you find something where your asset is backed by? Is it like 1/5 of its market cap is in the V1? 1/5 of its value is literally sitting there ready to buy itself up. Like, you don't find that anywhere.
I love how one of the biggest FUDs at the beginning of this was how, oh, those buy and burns, they're going to run dry. There's going to be nothing there. And then it's all going to go to zero. And look where we are, bro.
Yeah.
Like, V1 is still there. Like, it's basically got all of the same amount it's had. I know a little bit got used recently, but, you know, that was so crazy. I didn't even know V1 was used.
Yep, literally one day it just turned on, like at the bottom of the, literally turned on, burnt 150 billion in one day, and then just turned off again. I think that was kind of Jake just being like, yeah, remember this is here. I don't know, but it's crazy that it can do that literally that quickly.
It's insane, man. And like I said, it kind of gives you it's a psychological element to it. Like, do you want to sell? If you're a big whale and you could push price a lot, like, do you want to sell when Jake's, he knows your wallets, man. He's waiting for you to empty it. Then he's gonna, you know what I mean? It's gonna be on your mind. So
people selling now, I don't understand the logic behind it at all. Like, for me, it's like we haven't even. I don't think we've even seen half of what's coming. Like, there's so many projects, and it's just going to be exponential with the projects being brought out, with TitanX being burnt, with everything, ETH going up, freaking Trump. Whatever you think about Trump, he is going to be crazy for crypto, and that's just going to be like everything's lined up perfectly. Why would you exit now? Unless there's a better alternative in crypto, but I don't think.
Listen, unless your dog needs surgery, why exiting, bro? You know what I mean?
Maybe that's what it is.
Like, Jake, bro, like Trump's head movement just sent Bitcoin to 90K. Deep it. Trump's head movement. If that guy didn't move his head, who knows where we'll be right now?
It's such a good point. You know what? Like, that scenario was one thing when I was like, because I question, like, it was really interesting in my stream with Jake, because I got deep onto like his beliefs and stuff, and like I'm still like on the fence about if we're just biology and we just die and that's it, or like if there's something else. But Trump surviving and turning his head like that was like, that's a miracle. That is truly a miracle.
Yeah.
He gets hit.
I believe
twice on his face. Man. It's like, it's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Like, and this stuff always happens when I'm going to sleep. I'm in bed, like I've got work, you know, take my phone. Trump's been shot. And then it's just adrenaline rush and no sleep. So yeah, man.
But if you watch it, there's this even crazier video. It's this guy who's like really into God. He like preaches the Bible and stuff. But he did an interview 3 months before, or it was a few months before, and he said God told him in a dream. Okay, this sounds really weird, but God told him in a dream that there's going to be an assassination attempt, and it was going to brush past his ear, and he was going to fall to his knees. And that's exactly what happened. I watched that. I'll post it on Twitter later, actually. But I was so interested that this guy just talks about it. I was like, what the fuck are the chances of someone predicting exactly what happened?
Bro, it's crazy. Like, I do believe in, like, I'm a religious guy. I do believe in like that kind of other element to life. The way I see things as well, because if you actually go back on my page, I used to post a lot about philosophy before crypto.
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
I'm into I'm a bit into my philosophy stuff, and like I believe in like Neoplatonism, like the kind of Neoplatonic model. And in that kind of model, there's like levels to existence. And the way I look at it is, the higher up you go in the levels, there's basically more unity in existence. This is why when people even do psychedelics, they all talk about very similar experience with feeling unified with everything. And basically my theory is, people who are more receptive to these dreams or these types of knowledges, they basically are able to connect upwards. Their soul exists there already. They just have an ability to connect to it. And in that realm, because there's more unity, there's more knowledge as well, and they just might find something, and you get crazy predictions. And did my camera just come off?
No, it's all good.
Okay, it's showing. Okay, hold on. I don't know why it's just showing this. Okay, I'm back. Yeah.
But what actually gave you that belief? Is it through research, or is it through circumstances that has happened? Like, what actually brings you to think to that like conclusion?
Multiple things. I would say growing up, I always believed in it, and a lot of circumstantial stuff has happened, definitely. But I've always been a very rational person. So when I was like a young teenager, I went through this stage of like, oh, does God exist? Does all this stuff exist? Does this other stuff exist? And I just researched it really, really, really heavily. One of the most underrated elements of, or parts of philosophy, is how much Persian influence there is. A lot of people talk about the Greeks. If you read like philosophy books, they'll be like, they talk about the Greeks and then they kind of skip all the Middle Eastern guys, all the Persian guys. They just go straight to Western Europe. But there's a lot of insane philosophy from those guys, and what they did was they combined philosophy with these spiritual experiences as well, and they explained these spiritual experiences through their own philosophical system. So for me, like, everything's rooted in fundamentally logic and just rational principles. So I would start with God, and then you work your way down. But
yeah,
that's a discussion we could have. I can go in depth on that type of
no,
stuff.
I find it very fascinating when you hear something and it's like the first time you hear it, it's quite out there, and you're like, whoa. But then you speak to someone else completely separate, and they share a similar belief and a similar kind of structure. And I find that's like, how do people come to the same conclusions and believe in something so heavily? That's like, that's what interests me a lot. Like,
yeah,
I don't, like, everyone comes to the same thing, the same conclusion after doing loads of research, but some people don't. That's the thing.
Some people don't. Yeah, some people don't. Yeah, it depends. I think for me, when you're looking into this stuff, my favorite argument to use for God's existence and that type of stuff is called the necessary being argument. So if any of you are interested, you can look into that. To give a kind of analogy to it, you know, like when you're standing on a beach and you're looking out the ocean.
Yep.
Obviously, you've never seen the bottom of the ocean, but you know it's there. Logically, it has to be there. No one could have seen it. Imagine no one went to the bottom of the ocean, but we know it's there because we know that there has to be a foundation that holds up everything. Similarly, with existence, there has to be like a foundation to existence that holds up all of existence. So, you know, perhaps even atheists would say that's the universe, and then you have to have a discussion about that, you know. So that's, for me, my favorite argument to use for all of this stuff.
But do you think, this is the counter argument, do you think it's just the human brain trying to make sense of everything? Because I think the universe is so huge, you can't even imagine there not being a start to something. If it's infinite, you can't even imagine it being there forever. So is it humans just kind of trying to figure it out in their brain because they can't comprehend what is actually going on?
I think from some perspectives, you could say that. If you're looking at the argument for like a problem you'll find in physics is people trying to figure out where did everything come from, and they're using physics to understand that. The problem with that is you could argue, imagine I opened a book. Imagine I had a book and I see all the writing in the book. And then I'm like, I'm deducing laws of literacy. I noticed that these words, they kind of come together in these patterns, and then they form sentences and paragraphs. And, you know, I can go in depth on the laws of literacy and all these words, but that's never going to tell me how those words got there. You know, those laws of the words is never going to tell me how words got there. So that's why I believe starting from purely rational ground and then building from that. That's what metaphysics is. Metaphysics is the study of existence. You just start with existence, and then from there you branch into these other things. So that's why.
So what do you think? Do you think everyone has an individual purpose, or do you think all humans serve a similar purpose that they just haven't figured out?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I would say everyone has, like, there's kind of like a unified purpose, but then everyone has their own individual part to play. And I feel like everyone's part to play is their purpose in the bigger purpose.
What do you think is the bigger purpose?
Very good question. I would say the biggest purpose is to develop your own soul, to work your soul up into reflecting the necessary being, the first being. So to develop your soul is the purpose. That's why we're here. Once we die, our soul develops and moves on. That's the way I see things. Yeah.
That's crazy, because that's exactly what this guy who's not even in crypto said. He said everything is just about you in this life he was talking about more having a positive impact, and he believes that that's the foundation to the next life or the next whatever. But he was saying that it's all about this life. It doesn't matter how, it's like success, but it's a different metric of success. It's like, how positive the interactions you have with people, the network you have with people.
Have you heard about Plato's analogy of the cave?
No. What is it?
Oh, okay. So basically, Plato, it's like a really famous analogy where you have these prisoners, they're locked in a cave, and there's a fire pit behind them, and there's people who walk behind the fire pit or in front of the fire pit. And basically, these prisoners, they're looking at a wall. That's all they can see, just a wall. And whenever people walk in front, there's like these shadows that appear on the wall. And for these prisoners, all they've known their whole life is these shadows. So they think everything is these shadows. Like if they saw like an elephant walk past, they just see the shadow of elephant. Okay. So for them, everything is that. Then one day, basically, a prisoner escapes, and then he leaves the cave, and he's like, hold on a second. My whole life, I've been looking at shadows. I've never even been looking at the real thing. Like everything is just shadows. And then he goes back to tell the other guys, and they basically just call him crazy, and then they finish him. I can't remember the end. I don't know if they kill him or not, but they call him crazy, right? He's ridiculed. That's where I look at everything. Like this world, in the platonic sense, is basically like a shadow realm. Everything here is like shadows. The next life is a more real version of what we see now. And this is a unified experience that starts with Plato, but you find people talk about this throughout the Roman days, throughout the Islamic Golden Empire, the Christian empires, and all this. This same line of thought is still here today. So that's what they call like Neoplatonism.
That's such a good point. And I think if Jesus was real, which I mean, he's one of the most documented people in history. This is the thing that I always think about. He's so like, there's so many different accounts for it, and everything lines up so perfectly. It's like that person, Jesus, there had to have been someone like that. I reckon he was just on that kind of different plane of seeing. If it was spiritual, I think he's just on that spiritual plane and could like see everything, like you said, that normal people just can't. I think that's the only explanation I could have for the way I make sense of it in my head anyway.
Bro, like we all have access to it. Like you literally fall asleep and you have a dream. In your dream, you have a body, you have feelings, you can enjoy things, you can feel scared, you can experience life, but it's not physical, obviously. And so it's there. Like everyone has access to it. It's there. Prophets, whether that's Jesus, Moses, whether it's Muhammad, all these prophets that came, these people had a deep connection to this place, and they could just get information. So yeah, I agree with you. They definitely had this kind of connection to that. And yeah.
Do you think it's possible for anyone to reach that? Because are you kind of talking about lucid dreaming now then? Is that what you're going into? Do you think that has something to do, or do you think that's completely separate?
No, I think that's got something to do with it. I would just say any form of dreaming. Like what I'm trying to say is the dream world is a real place. It's a part of your soul. Your soul lives in that level as well. And you can access it every night. You fall asleep and you dream. So that's why people say like when you die, it's like when you go to sleep, you wake up in a dream. It's going to be like that. You go to sleep and you wake up and you're like, hold on a second, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah. Is there a drug that's released in your brain only when you're born and die? Is that a thing? I swear I read somewhere like DMT or something.
Yeah, I maybe. I think DMT's
okay.
DMT's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you ever tried any psychedelics?
No.
I think well, there has to be something there though, because like you were saying at the beginning, it's like everyone has this shared experience.
The way I look at psychedelics is because for me, psychedelics, it fits into my philosophy, which is so amazing. So basically, when people do psychedelics, the reason why they all have consistent experiences is because they're experiencing a world that's actually real, and they're connecting to a reality that is there, and we all have a connection to it. And the psychedelic could just be a way for you to unveil. It's like having veils in your eyes and you unveil them, you know?
Yeah. I could definitely yeah. It's very interesting. Shout out James in the chat.
Shout out James, man. It's good to have you here, bro.
You need to do a stream with James.
I'm very honored, man.
He's one of my favorite streams I've done for sure. James, if you want, it's in the streamer chat if you want to join. I put the link in there.
Yeah, come join.
Yeah, man. I think we just went off. Probably
we went on a mad one. Yeah, I could do it, bro. I can. When you get me talking about this stuff, like it's just
Okay. What are your thoughts about numerology then? Do you think that has something behind it, or do you think that's separate to
numerology? It's really interesting. So it's not something I can say I've studied or I've looked into. However, there's got to be something there. And the interesting thing is, so I come from, though I don't look it, I come from the Islamic kind of understanding of things.
Yeah.
Even in the Islamic world, there's people who are like, they believe in numerology and they have whole like books on numerology. Like it's there. You find it in every tradition.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm going to study more into. Something that's quite interesting actually, is, you know, the whole life path number.
Yeah.
You know, like your date of birth and it comes down to a number.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting thing that I did where I figured out my life path number, which is an 8. I was like,
nice.
I'm an 8. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, so I was like, it was an 8. And then I don't know if you've heard of MBTI.
No, I haven't.
So MBTI is like a personality thing. By the way, this is my friend Sean. It's good to have him here, man. We've got Sean. Some of you, some of you may be able to figure out who he's related to by his name. I'll let people think about that one. But anyway, what I was saying is, so MBTI is like a personality test, and it kind of categorizes people based off.
Oh
like,
wait, is this the university one? Is this the university one where you like fill out, or is that different now?
I don't know. Have you ever heard of like people say they're like an INTJ or ENTJ?
Yeah, I've done this.
You've done that, right? So basically, if you get a life path number, you can look up what MBTI. It's called an MBTI. What MBTI you are, and it's weird. Every single person I've done it on, their life path number matches exactly what MBTI they are.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's weird. Like, I was an 8, and my MBTI, I'll do an independent test on MBTI. It'll say I'm an ENTJ. That's what it says. And then when I looked up life path number 8 MBTI, it's ENTJ. And I've done this for literally everyone I know, and it always comes out as what their actual MBTI is. And I'm like,
I need to do that. Smooth told me yesterday my number is like 6. What does that mean?
I don't know, man. That's what I mean. We need
he was like, yeah, it's 6. I was like, is that good? And he was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just know 8 because Jake is always talking about 8. I think, what's Jake? Is Jake 2 or 1? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I just know he's 28 years old, which is, I find crazy.
Whoa.
I don't know if that's fabricated.
It's gonna be a good year, man. It's gonna be a good year, bro.
Line it up. It's lining up, exactly.
Yeah.
I do find the numerology stuff interesting, because it's quite out there. Like, from not hearing anything about it and then coming into like TitanX, where it's like heavily belief behind it. It's very interesting, like just seeing people's perspectives on it. And I like to think it carries weight, and I'm like open to the idea of it. But when you first hear it's like this sounds crazy. But like you said, you do things on your own and you figure out like everything's connected in a way, and it's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I think there's even a school in philosophy, forgive me, I forget the name of them, but they hold a belief that there's truth, there's like a universal truth, and there's truth to every single religion in a way. I forgot what the name is. It starts with a P. But yeah, there's some elements of truth to it. Like, people from all over the world, whether you're in India, whether you're in China, whether you're in America, they all have somewhat of a shared experiences. Yes, they might speak about them in a different language, like there's different words they use to describe things, but in some senses you can fit things together, you know?
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's definitely something I need to look more into.
Yeah. Same. It's one of those things that is like, when you think about purpose, because I think purpose is like a big question. So I don't know about yourself, but when you're young, you're kind of thinking, like, what am I going to do with my life? What's my purpose here? But this kind of stuff, when you're trying to figure out kind of why you're here, why everyone's here, I find really interesting. I don't think anyone has the answer, but I really like hearing people's different perspectives, and like when they have such strong belief in something. Like Jake,
I would say
100% sure. Like, he's super sure. It's like what got him to be that sure about something, you know?
Wow. Yeah, I know. Jake could give a whole masterclass and all this type of stuff. With purpose, like I feel like the most fulfilling purpose is just literally just being a good person. It's really easy. Like, just being a good person, hold the door open for people, smile, be nice, fulfill, just be a good person, and be a good person to other people, and then reflect that onto society. I think that's the most kind of noble.
Even if you don't have a belief in something, following a certain set of morals and a certain set of like values will make your life better and people around you life's
That's
better.
what I mean.
So I heavily believe in that. Even if religion, I don't know, hypothetically, there's not anything going on. It's just good that everyone has these morals that they share.
Did you see that recently? This is a little bit off topic, but it's kind of connected. Did you see that interview recently with Mike Tyson and that like young kind of, I don't know, early teenager girl?
Oh, I saw a clip from it.
Did you see it?
I saw a
man,
clip.
it's hilarious.
Wasn't he like getting really in depth about it?
He gets too intense. He gets like too intense, right? Like she asks, it's like a
10-year-old.
She asks him, she asks him like, "What's your legacy? Like, what legacy?" And this guy just goes like deep. He's like, "There's no such thing as legacy, bro. This is a word that people made up."
Yeah,
it's so funny, man. And she's just kind of watching him like,
she's like, "What?" How did you watch that fight? How did you feel about it?
I had work. I couldn't watch it. I think I tried. I got to 3 a.m. and just passed out. But no, like I watched the highlights. Yeah.
I feel bad for
depressing,
Mike,
isn't
man.
it? It's a bit depressing. Yeah.
It's like
I get it, Mike is making his money, but this guy was, I guess that's why he doesn't care about legacy, right? He was such a legend. It's kind of sad to see someone be such a former shadow of who they were.
Yeah, but he did. He sent out a tweet and it was like he almost died like a year ago or something, and this was his battle to get healthy again. So I think in his eyes, it's like still a win. But yeah, from like an audience perspective, it's kind of like, bro, you're 60,
bro. It's crazy. I mean, I've seen people saying the fight is rigged and stuff. I don't know, but at the end of the day, bro, the guy's like what, 58? He's 60 years old. Like, even to get in the ring and move and throw punches, and actually the defense looked all right. Like he was like, still had that movement. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Are you big into like boxing?
I'm into the UFC. I like the UFC, and I would love to get into like doing something myself.
Have you trained?
BJJ? Never. I'm maybe into the gym, but I don't do any. Do you?
Yeah.
Nice. What do you do?
So primarily BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Nice.
I want to move more into a bit more striking stuff, but my goal for BJJ is get the blue belt, maybe purple belt. When the purple belt's there, probably move into striking a bit. But bro, it's the best thing for you, especially when you watch UFC. Like I love UFC as well. So it's the best thing for you, like on every level. Like I was like big into weights, and then I went in the BJJ gym. I was like, look at these skinny guys, man. Like, just gonna be easy.
They just take
bro,
you out.
I got slaughtered so badly on my first day.
Yeah.
Bro, I thought I was gonna throw up. I was sitting on the bench like this. Oh, like after sparring, I did 5 rounds, bro. Why did I do 5 rounds of BJJ? It's called rolling. And these guys just absolutely destroyed me. You realize there's literally nothing you can do. And when you're new to BJJ, one of the mistakes you'll make is you just try to tense every muscle in your body because you just think, oh, it's gonna like tense and like fight these guys.
Yeah.
And then you get tired in 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then you're surviving the rest of it. And these guys aren't stopping, bro. These guys are just going, ruthless. So, bro, it was bad. Like my first session was so bad, but it's just staying consistent. Because the crazy thing with BJJ is like, one day you're the prey, but you train consistently 6 months. One day that new guy's gonna walk in the gym, you're thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you found it has like given benefits to real life? Like, do you think it carries confidence, and like what lessons do you think it's going to taught you?
I think, especially as a man, you want to feel confident in your own abilities to defend yourself. So it's so important that you just feel, because that kind of self-doubt in here will translate to the real world. Like fighting in any way, it's one of those things that not a lot of people trade, but everyone thinks they can do it. Imagine I gave you a GCSE maths paper right now. You've not studied maths for years. maybe you could do it when you were 16, but you go back and do it now when it's like, hold on a second, what's that equation? What's this? What's that? Fighting's the same. You need to stay consistent with studying it and just be consistent with it. Because even if you trained and then you stop training, you go back to the gym and it's like, hold on, like these, like I'm just forgetting so much. Even me, like, you know, if you watch UFC, you'll know, like, from this position, I can get an armbar. You might get into that position in the gym and you're like, how do I do the armbar now? Like I worked so hard to get here, bro. Like,
yeah.
And then you do the armbar and he just escapes like that, and you're like, oh my god, man, I thought I had him.
Yeah.
But that happened to me with one of my coaches.
Yeah.
I got him in a chokehold and I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I got a black belt in a chokehold, no way. Bro, the guy just escaped like it was absolutely nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Like he was just like it was as if I was weird to say it like this, but it was as if I was a kid. The way he just got out of it, like I was like, what the heck, man? Like, I just put this guy, you know.
But how good of a lesson is that for life? That like you have to stay consistent, disciplined. That's the only way you can improve. I think that's the main lesson. That like delayed gratification, I think, is massive. And I'm big into like the gym. Yeah, I'm big into the gym, and like you just have to turn up. And you don't want to, but like you just have to if you want to see progress. I feel like it's
and the days you don't want to, are the most important days as well.
Yeah,
like that's where it's like make or break. Like, bro, like you said, you hit the nail on the okay, I'm gonna mess up that saying, but you hit it right where it needs to be hit there, because you know when you're training, especially jiu-jitsu, you basically get beat up every day you train, but you carry on going. Like, it doesn't defeat you. You're losing on the mats, but you just carry on showing up. You carry on showing up. You show that consistency. And that's a really big thing for you as a person, like in your whole life, because life is about winning. Doesn't happen without losing. You have to kind of take a couple L's, and that's how you make it, right? So
yeah. You know, the crazy thing that translates perfectly into crypto, especially your journey. You said that you had the whole dump, but you, instead of thinking, okay, I give up, you were like, I know this can work, so I'm just going to stick at it. I think a lot of people have that experience. You experience the rugs, you experience the downtrends, whatever, but it's like, you know, there's potential here, so you stick around and you keep learning. I think for everything, that's a lesson to just like have, you know. I think that's the most important, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. It translates to everything. And like you with crypto, like I think I actually remember it was probably Richard Hart, and he said something like, bro, you just got to make, this is the fastest appreciating asset class in history. This is where you have to be. And if you make it in this one cycle, that's all you need. If you win in one cycle in this game, that's what you need. So you got to realize, like, this is it's such a big opportunity in front of you. So yeah, man,
and the way I view it is like, what's the alternative? You invest in the S&P, make 10%, and you retire when you're 60 and you have $1 million. Like, yeah, that's good, but like, you're going to be 60. Time is way more valuable than money, and I think the risk is so worth it. Like, why would you not risk it? What is the alternative? There is no alternative. There is no alternative. This is the best appreciating asset, like you said, anywhere. Why would you not take advantage of it?
Like, people, especially like in the UK, we know how crazy cost of living is here as well. It's how crazy house prices are. It's like, how do you even get your foot through the door? A lot of young people like me, we're all feeling like, how do you get your foot through the door here? Like, getting a deposit on a house or getting into all these jobs, it's just tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, literally. And the thing as well that I hate is when you look into like how governments run, how inflation and like works, how they just print and print and print, devalue their currency. And like people that work 40 years and they save all their money in their fiat, it loses so much buying power and value. And they've done nothing wrong. They think they're doing it right, but they're losing. Like, they work their whole life to build up their bank account, but then it loses value so quickly. During COVID, they literally printed like, do you know how much of the money supply they printed? It was like over like 50-60%.
Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it? It was over 50%. Yeah.
So just think how much that dilutes everything and makes everything more expensive, because there's just it's just crazy when you think about it. It's like, this is the only, if you want to store your value and actually work and keep your wealth, you have to adopt either crypto, gold, or something. There's
something.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like
fiat.
inflation
Fiat's a
is
scam.
a
Fiat is a
bro.
scam.
Fiat is crazy. Inflation is an invisible tax, bro. Every day, every year, your buying power is reduced. Are your wages going up the same way? No, they're not. So yeah, it's crazy. Fiat is a crazy place.
I just feel we're lucky we figured this out. Like, imagine being 34. Like, you're 22, right?
22.
Yeah, 22. Like, I think everyone I love Michael Saylor and the way he speaks about everything and just simplifies everything. I think you just have to think, like, why would I work my entire life for something that's being devalued by governments that aren't supporting me?
And there's a lot of discussion now about what's going to happen with all this AI. Like, is AI going to generally replace jobs? Excuse me.
It will.
Like, you've got 5-6 years maybe. When AI came out, bro, when ChatGPT came out, like, obviously AI has been out before then for a long time, but when ChatGPT came out, it was crazy. Like, seeing it, because you always hear about it, and then actually seeing it,
bro. Overnight, it all changed.
Overnight, bro. Like, I remember, I was at uni. I was with one of my friends. We were studying in like the library. I was like, he was doing like an assignment. He was like, bro. I was like, what? He's like, look at this, like this AI tool. I put it in this, and it just gives me a whole answer. I was like, whoa, bro. You're like, no wonder why you're banging out your assignments recently, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but that's like, in our lifetimes, in everyone's lifetime, anyone that's watching this stream, I think AI is going to be just so exponential. Like, everyone's talking about, there's going to be artificial intelligence smarter than humans, or as smart as humans within the next couple of years. And then think about it. If it's smart as humans or smarter, it's just going to keep building on itself, keep getting bigger and bigger. All jobs are going to be replaced. Everything's going to be replaced. Like, that's the world we're going to have to living and adopt and try and figure out. So you want to position yourself in the best way possible.
It's so true.
I think having being in crypto or trying to make some kind of wealth is the only way you survive.
I think as a technology, I feel like AI and crypto are gonna they're like the things that are gonna really explode. And we're already seeing what crypto's doing. Now AI is going crazy. Bro, like, they're putting AI in everything now. You buy a laptop, now it comes with AI. That's why they're making all these new CPU chips. You've got Intel Ultra chips now, Snapdragon, Apple doing it with Apple Intelligence. It's going into every single thing. And what's going to happen is companies are going to start building custom software. Basically, that's AI software to do the job that you're getting employed to do.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen, because it shows up every day. It doesn't have an ill day. It does exactly what you tell it to do. It's crazy.
I think there's going to be a crazy disaster of meaning, people finding meaning, because you won't need to work. All the jobs will be replaced, but then everyone's going to be sat there thinking, what am I going to do? I think a lot of people decide to work still because maybe that's the only thing that gives them meaning. But I think there's going to be a huge thing. Like, AI will be able to do anything humans can do better. I 100% believe that in our lifetimes.
So, like, I feel like it really hit home for me when have you seen AlphaGo, the documentary? Have you heard of it?
No.
So basically, it's interesting. AI like dominated chess, I believe, in the 90s. But there's another game called Go, which is far more complex than chess. It's the most complex chess. It's the most complex board game. And for a very long time, everyone thought no AI could beat this. Like, it requires a human level of intuition to play. Yeah. And it's huge in Korea, China, Japan. It's like massive. It's like there, it's like chess is here, like, but probably even bigger. It's crazy. And so there's a DeepMind, a company, I believe they're owned by Google, but they're based in London. And they developed an AI program called AlphaGo. And they played the best rated Go player who's dominated the scene for 20 years. They played a game with him, like 5 games, and they won
all of them.
Isn't it crazy? They won apart from one game. One game the other guy won, and the probability. So the AI model looks into the future and it builds a probability that someone's going to play a move. The probability that he played the move that won him the game was 1 in 10,000. That's how good he is, right?
Wow.
1 in 10,000, and the AI just didn't calculate it because it's like, no one's going to play that. And that's the only time it's ever been beat. One time. It's crazy.
That is actually crazy. Yeah. Do you think it comes to the point then with AI? Because I believe you're going to be able to like scan brains and like, well, you will be. They're going to be able to figure out all vaccines for everything. They're going to be able to heal everything. They're going to be able to scan people's brains. I think it's going to prolong humans' lives because there's going to be it's going to eliminate all viruses, all disease. In that situation, do you decide to prolong your life? If you could live forever, would you?
No, I wouldn't. The reason why I wouldn't is because I mean, I'll probably prolong it. You know, got a few more bull cycles in me. What can I say? I need a couple more cycles. But I wouldn't prolong it because I like I told you, and this all goes back to my philosophy. Like, I don't think this life is it. This is not it. Like, after this place is way better, bro. Like, this place is like the next place we'll be is like this is gonna look like a prison. So yeah, it's cool to prolong it, but I don't think I would live forever. You know, I mean, I don't even know what the world would look like if everyone lived forever. You know, imagine if you like annoy someone and have a grudge on you, and you know they're gonna hold that grudge forever.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it would just be the rich people that would be able to prolong their life, and they'll be able to contain their wealth for longer. And then it's like the top 1% would own. It gets to that like difficult, more like if you were an ultra like super rich person and you don't believe, or you don't want to take the chance that there isn't anything, you'd want to survive longer. But then that means you have more control over everything. Like, your kids don't inherit your wealth, you just keep all of it, and it just makes a massive divide bigger than there is now.
We'll start getting multiple 100-year mortgages, bro. You take out a mortgage, it'd be like 300-year mortgage. Like, oh man, 300 years, got to work my job. But it's true. It will keep everything in the wealthy people. They're not going to give that to everyone. They'll cure the wealthy people.
I think that would be a horrible world to live in. I wouldn't want to be there.
And I don't know if you saw recently this guy in the chat, Ims, who I also know in real life, so good to have you here. He's saying there was a crazy story recently of someone who actually took that life because of AI. That is a dark side to all of this that I believe the world is only gonna start seeing more. I think it's like a weird AI dating thing, and it's really quite sad. I feel like I feel like, I don't know, I think it was like he like some sort of AI dating thing and it didn't turn out well. Yeah, that's the type of stuff that I hope it doesn't happen. But there's always going to be crazy cons to new technology, and we have to adapt as people and as parents. Like, if you're a parent, you got like make sure you know what your kid's up to. You know.
Yeah. I think the plan is you do a few bull cycles, and then before everything gets super crazy, you just go set up an off-grid place where we can control everything, and you don't have to experience all the craziness of everything going on in the world. I reckon that's the strat.
If you could live for that long, bro, we're gonna be on Mars, bro. We're gonna find some distant planet somewhere. It's gonna be called TitanX planet, and we're all just gonna live there, man.
Yeah. Is
there a tax on TitanX miners?
What do you think about Elon being in government? Doing Doge.
That was crazy, isn't it? That was crazy. I don't even understand what his position is, but I think he spoke about it with Trump before, because they kind of spoke about it on that live. And then Doge, when that came out, that's just funny, man.
That's so funny. Department of Government Efficiency. Him and Vivek, I think, are officially going to be doing it. And it's, with Twitter, he just came in, fired like 90% of the people there weren't even needed. I think that's what they're planning to do with government. So I'm excited to see what happens. I don't know if it's going to turn out good, bad. Who knows?
Maybe that's why. I don't want to get too political, but that's why there's some heated. I don't know if you know what Biden's doing recently. There's some heated stuff going on right now, man.
Yeah, man, we've just gone on even more.
We've gone on now. Was this a crypto live stream? Was this are you a founder or something? Like, Yeah, I think we'll talk about what's going on TitanX. I mean, in the recent dip, it was yeah, I feel like it was really hard, man.
Did you take
Minus
advantage?
50%.
You take advantage of the dip,
bro, it was hard, bro. I had to, can't lie. I opened up a LinkedIn tab again. It was bad. I'm joking. No, it was good. It was good. I kind of anticipated the dip. I took advantage. of the dip. So I'm very happy. I bought some cheap alts on TitanX.
Nice.
And I just got a beautiful position. So gonna
what
it out.
What are your go-tos at the moment? What are you looking at, and what are your favorites?
I keep everything simple, so I'm not in a lot of stuff. I would say for me, it's DragonX, TitanX, Hyper, E280. Anything else? And I'm looking into a few more. I quite like the sound of Alien X. I want to get into these kind of smaller cap coins because I think those ones could pop off really nice.
Yeah,
obviously waiting for Shogun and
Shogun will
obviously
be crazy.
Phoenix. So
yeah,
there's a lot of
There's too many things coming out though. You can't even keep track of it. I literally can't read all the white papers.
Same, like with Vault. What happened with Vault? Again, I don't know why this happens. I was on holiday. I was like, DragonX popped off. I'm happy, gonna chill, book a little holiday. We're in California, and I kind of thought like I need to just take my eyes off crypto for this week that I'm here and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Anyway, completely missed Vault launch. It came out. I'm checking Twitter. Everyone's like, "Oh, Vault blowing up, bang, 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 bang," and I'm like, "Oh, you're joking. Why is it my holiday time? These massive crazy things, man."
It's the bicycle.
Maybe you should let me know when Phoenix comes out. I'll go on holiday, bro.
Yeah.
It's a bicycle. I think it's like crypto kindness. Like whenever that guy gets on the plane, there's like a pump and he has no internet, so he can't see it. And then he gets off the plane and he's like, checks his phone. He's like, hold on a second. Why is everything pumping? I felt like that. So yeah, I missed Volt, unfortunately. Volt did insane. Volt did like insane gains. But yeah, man, I was just on holiday, bro. Stevie, man, what a beast of a protocol. That guy came out of nowhere, just launched an absolute monster.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think's been the best or the most unique tokenomic that you've seen, in your opinion?
I think obviously TitanX starts off. There's a few things. I think I really like what Volt did with their deflationary asset auction system. I think that was really cool. Like the buy and bid, which you have as well. The buy and burn and bid. I think when I first heard that, I didn't understand it. But when you actually see it working, it's like, hold on.
It's a crazy idea, isn't it? To have a deflationary asset, but you have daily auctions still going out without adding inflation to the protocol. It's crazy. Like, we in Phoenix, we have heavy inspiration from that. We want to have sustainable auctions on a deflationary asset. I think it just makes sense because, go on.
No. Like, it's your protocol. You can talk. It's cool.
No, I was just going to say.
All I was going to say.
Oh, go on.
Okay. I was just going to say, like, that's one thing when I read your white paper that I really was like, wow. And that's why I like how all the protocols here were all developing and learning from each other and building even cooler things. So it was really cool to see that influence from Vault. And I'm sure you'll discuss it a lot, but it gives you another way of adding to the buy and burn. Like deflationary auction. But one of the cool things of it is it's another way for TitanX to enter the buy and burn and bid, right? So that's a really cool feature.
In my opinion, when I'm looking to invest in any project, I love the idea of sustainability. If they have something set up where you can do when it has a source of income coming in constantly that is kind of separate or not depending on itself. I love that idea. And DragonX started that. If you're bullish on TitanX, then you might as well just own DragonX because every time mining kicks off again, it's a separate income that's going to be coming in to make DragonX even more scarce. And I love that idea. And I love the idea of auctions as well, because it's no matter what, they're always going to be clocking along and you're going to have that income. I think founders are looking for having sustainable income coming into their projects because you don't want a situation where it just runs out. Your buy and burn runs out, or there's a delay on something 2 years down the line, everything runs dry. That's would be the worst case situation. I think that's what you're looking to do as founders, or that's what I was looking to do when I was building Phoenix.
And that's what I like about your system is with like TitanX, obviously it's Hydra's out, it's different, but like at the start it was like it only gets the buy and burns when there's mining. So the buy and burn only gets filled up when there's mining. But what you've done is the buy and burn's filling up with all of these protocols. But if they ever have a dry patch, so to speak, the auction system will carry on going, and there's going to be other ways for TitanX to get in the buy and burn. So it's not fully dependent on those stakes, and I really like that. It's more sustainable, like you said. Yeah,
but that's in my opinion, the auction systems that Blaze and that Flux have are better than TitanX, and that's because they're every single day, no matter, even if it drops 90% or 99%, the daily auction is still going to occur, and there's still something coming in. TitanX, there can be dry periods where nothing comes in. I love the idea of auctions. People are always going to participate. It's forced participation because there's always an ROI there to be made. Yeah. That's what I love. The auctions are just, I'm so bullish on them. And if I was going to build anything else, it'd be around that for sure.
Yeah, the auction game is crazy. Even Jake now with Shogun, there's going to be an auction system. So, you know, we're all learning, and even Jake is taking that element and adding it to his protocol. I have a question for you about just other protocols. What is your favorite protocol?
It's got to be it's got to be TitanX. I'm not gonna lie. TitanX was like, Phoenix is funded by TitanX. TitanX is my biggest holding. I think like the idea that Eric has when he came in. I mean, even Jake said it. He didn't even think of it. I think it's so impressive. I love the idea of, if you have what I just said before. If you're into TitanX and you're bullish on its future, you're basically TitanX is just a proxy of that. It's just a leverage play that you're holding a literally deflationary asset that just becomes more scarce over time. Like, that is so, I just love the idea of TitanX. But more recently, probably Element 280. I think what they've done with the LP web and all the arbitrage, I mean, that's never done before either. And that is insane. And that it works. And it works really well.
Bro, that's same here. Like the LP web stuff, I never knew anything about it. But I've like heard about the idea through UFO and PTGC, especially because like Crypto Kindness talks about it. But I never got in. And I heard about the idea, but I didn't really understand it. And then when E280 came out, I didn't even participate for most of the mid phase. I got in right like near the end of the mid phase with the NFTs and just understanding how it works. It's crazy, isn't it? Like making an LP where being bonded to everything means if you catch a pump, if Vault pumps, guess what? E280 pumps. Our bots come in, bang, 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 trade it, and then the protocol is literally saying, all right, thank you. And it's just taxing all these bots on their trades. It's so cool. It's so cool because it builds a foundation where our bots are going to want to play, and then it makes them benefit the protocol.
Yeah. And it's something that it's something that Jake's implementing as well into Shogun. I think he's doing the whole LP web because it just makes sense and it works so well. And that's what I love about this ecosystem. Everyone's kind of taking ideas. There's just, you said it in the back rooms, the evolution. It's like there's all these different tokenomics coming out. Everyone's kind of merging them, digesting them. But it's like, where is this going to be in a year when all this innovation is all going to, I think it's going to be one pinnacle project. Maybe it's Shogun or maybe it's something else in the future that is just going to get everything so right. It's going to be, you can't ignore it. It's going to be that big.
I think there's this, I don't know if it's like this book called Atomic Habits, but there's like this concept. I don't know if it's from that, but there's this concept that like if you improve 1% a day, where you end up in the year is like 350% better than where you are now. I feel like that's what we're doing in this ecosystem where like a new protocol comes out and we're just improving. Even if it's 1%, it's like we're improving every single thing that's coming. It's like they're revising what they did before, they're improving it. That doesn't mean the stuff that came before is not good. It just means we're refining it. Like we're just refining the system. So like you said, where we could be in a year from now, like Jake said, he thinks Shogun's his Magnus Opus. Like he thinks that's his crazy So I think it is.
Yeah. But I'm sure that there'll be something else after that in like a few months that probably has better tokenomics and beats it. Like the amount of stuff coming out that you wouldn't even think of. You wouldn't even think of what Element 280 did with its NFTs being backed by a token, the LP web, the tax, everything.
Oh,
I think there are builders out there that
insane.
probably have these ideas as well, and they're maybe thinking about building them that people don't even have, which I love. I love that so much because every project that comes out, you want to kind of research and find out about.
Obviously, right now you've got Phoenix to deal with, but would you think of building more to add to Phoenix? Like, is there anything in you that wants to build more?
I just want to make sure Phoenix is bulletproof first, but definitely as you're like forming ideas to build projects, you have certain ideas that don't work for that project, if that makes sense. So I do have like a list of ideas that I would love to revisit, but Phoenix is the only thing I'm focused on at the moment, and its success basically.
Yeah. I was thinking like, just throwing it out there, like let's say in a year's time from now or when X28 is popping, there may be more protocols which you could take advantage of stakes. You could possibly build like a sister token or maybe even something like Element 369, like an NFT project where people get in and they get like rewarded for holding, but then that also benefits the first one. That's something I like. So I'm just throwing it out there.
What, so like utilizing staking pools to make your asset, would you do NFTs to give like dividends, or would you?
Yeah, like in a sense, you don't even need to launch a token. You could just like launch an NFT and it can pay like the people who hold it. And you can do like what Element 369 is doing with like it's not going to be like a cap supply. Like I think there's going to be mint phases. And you could just do that, and then that protocol will build into buy, burn, or whatever on Phoenix, and that way you can just keep on adding to the system.
Yeah, it's a good idea for sure. I think doing that on top of auction protocols as well is the best, because if you're just like with TitanX, it has the mining waves, and there's periods where it's all dry and it's kind of unpredictable what's going to happen. I love the daily auctions with Flux and with Blaze because everything's predictable. You know the amount of inflation that's coming out each day is guaranteed. So if you just have enough projects and it's burning more than the daily issuance rate, then it goes deflationary. Like E369 launching on Flux, cutting off and participating in the daily auctions is going to reduce the supply coming out. Phoenix buying off market and max staking it is going to reduce the supply as well. If both have a lot of adoption, we can make Flux deflationary and absolutely send it. And then because of that, the auctions are literally mirrored. So if Flux does a 2x from now, there's 2x the amount of rewards. There's 2x the amount in the buy and burn. There's 2x the amount of Inferno being burned. Yep. Everything's like directly correlated. And I love that so much because I don't know. That's what I can't wait for Phoenix and for E369 to be launching on Flux together. And even with Blaze, we've got to have a Blaze stake as well. And I know there are other projects building on Blaze. Like this idea that you can send these daily auction protocols high and just pump them, and then wherever price that's at, it's directly mirrored into the reward pools and the buy and burns and everything like that. I just can't wait to see that personally. I think it's
so cool, man.
The best thing in TitanX at the moment for me.
And I think the cool thing with your thing is it's in 3 protocols. So you've got the TitanX stake, you got the Flux stake, and you got the Blaze stake. And all those protocols could pop off, like especially Flux and Blaze, right? Because they're quite low market cap.
Even if one of them pops off.
Yeah. It's just like it's like taking advantage of as much as you can, like as much protocols as you can, and linking them back to your one. Yeah. That's really cool, because if one of them pops off, that's going to really help Phoenix, and if all of them pop off, it's like, buy me the cigar right now. You know what I mean?
Can I give a quick elevator pitch for anyone watching that doesn't actually know what Phoenix is, because they might be a bit confused right now. So Phoenix is going to be, I've taken inspiration heavily from TitanX and Vault. I love what TitanX has done with having its stake in TitanX, and I love what Vault's done with the daily auctions. So with Phoenix, we're going to have a stake in TitanX, Blaze, and Flux. Those rewards are going to be split between maintaining those stakes and fueling the Phoenix buy smart contract. every single time Phoenix is brought with all those funds, it's going to be split 50-50. Half of it's going to be burnt, which is going to create the deflationary aspect. Half of it's going to be sent to an auction balance. And there's a 28-day mint, and then it's capped. So we're going to have this kind of these free stakes fueling the auction and burning of Phoenix. So it's going to be hyper deflationary, and it's also going to have daily auctions that are going to be sustainable. The whole thing's sustainability. So I just can't wait for that to happen. And the reason we put in the daily auctions is because with TitanX, I was early, well, not early, but I'm heavily invested into TitanX, and it was reaching a valuation where the 369 payout was only worth 3 million, and it was in the like 50 million range even. And I was kind of thinking, this is so overvalued. I think it could easily dump. With the daily auctions of Phoenix, if Phoenix pumps up really high, we're going to have through the daily auctions a mirrored amount of TitanX coming in. That's always going to track whatever the price of Phoenix is. So if there's a period where Phoenix gets so overvalued compared to what we have in the free stakes, we're still going to have an income coming in through the daily auctions that's going to be mirrored of whatever the price is, which I can't wait for.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's crazy because you don't know how much that's going to pull in as well. Like that could pull in a lot more TitanX into that buy and burn.
So yeah, we're only doing 1% of the balance a day, which doesn't sound that much because Vault is like 20%. But when it comes to things, it's like after over a month, 25% of that auction balance is going to be used if nothing's added. And the whole point is that low as well, is because if we're just adding more to that balance than is being 1% is being taken out, it's always going to be building. So we're going to have a massive chunk of the supply of Phoenix in that auction smart contract. And then if Phoenix does start soaring really high, we're going to have so much fuel in that auction that it's going to just be able to be recycled back into the system to make it even more scarce. And yeah, I just love the cyclical.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like the whole protocol will be the biggest holder of the protocol. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, that would be a really cool situation, wouldn't it? Like if you looked at the pie chart, if you have the stats page and you just see like most of it is in this buy and bid balance.
That's what I love the idea of. Like if people even don't wake up to it and it just has the stakes and there's a period where it's low, but we're just adding to this balance and building it really, really big. As soon as it takes off, we're going to have to have so much fuel to just every single day there's going to be recycled through TitanX. That's going to go back to buy itself. Like the whole thing's just going to be, I can't wait for it, man.
It's going to be so cool. I have one question.
Go on.
So with the stakes, I just put my brightness up. I don't know if that's too much. With the stakes, you have different percentages for each one. What was the reason that you chose those percentages in terms of the amount of TitanX that comes in? I know, like, I think it's 28% goes into Flux, is it? And then 20% TitanX and then 9% Blaze. And then the Blaze one is kind of different because it builds up over 150 days. So what was like your thought process behind that basically?
Yeah. So for the 28-day mint phase, it's going to be the best ratio for the first day. For only 24 hours, it's going to be 1-to-1 for TitanX, and then it's going to decrease. But all the TitanX that comes in through that mint phase is going to be split up to build up the free stakes and to fuel the buy and burn as well. So with TitanX, we first of all, I had it quite evenly spread between the free stakes. But then after speaking to Jake, he said, you don't want to split your economic energy too much. So that's why we had a low percentage for Blaze. But I still wanted to utilize Blaze to build up a decent stake. So we only have 9% of all the TitanX coming in through the mint phase going to Blaze. But for the first, like you said, 150 days, 100% of the rewards we receive are just going to be reinvested to build up that stake. So after there's 150 days, the allocation splits and half the rewards are used to maintain the stake and the other half goes to fuel the Phoenix buy and burn. But other than that, it's quite evenly split, 20% TitanX, which obviously we want to meet the ethos, and we want to give, for people building on Inferno, we want to give an alternative that directly benefits them, because everyone wants to burn TitanX. And if you're sending it to the DragonX Vault, let's say, or Helios Vault, you're not benefiting from that at all. If you send it to our TitanX Vault, which 2 projects already are, I think Flare is and GoX are going to be sending TitanX there. Half of it's going to be used to maintain the stake in TitanX. The other half is going to go to buy Inferno before buying Phoenix. So all their projects built on Phoenix are going to be pumped up because we're pumping up Inferno before buying Phoenix. So it kind of directly benefits them, and it gives an alternative to burning TitanX. And that's why that's kind of
Is that why you also chose to directly pair the LP with Inferno?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I love the idea of what happened with Baby Dragon X and Dragon X. Like, we saw Dragon X take off, but Baby Dragon X just absolutely flew. And I love the idea of a leverage play. And that's what I love about Inferno as well. It's not massive at the moment. So so the Blaze stake, the Flux stake, and the buy and burn all route through Inferno. So everything's going to buy Inferno first before being split to those separate locations. So it's going to be a crazy leverage play on Inferno. Out of everything that comes in through the mint phase, all the TitanX, 72% of it will buy Inferno before being separated to the different locations. So it's going to be a crazy leverage play on Inferno, which I can't wait for.
That's going to be crazy. And Inferno, I believe they've burned, is it 50%?
55%
of their supply. 55%. That is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
On the capped asset, like.
Yep. And the biggest burner is Flux. Because they have, I forget the allocation. I think it's like 8% of what comes in through daily auctions goes to burn Inferno. So if we're able to push up the Flux price, it means more's coming in through auctions, which means there's more Inferno being burnt, which is going to benefit Flux even more, which is going to benefit us through more rewards. And obviously, as Inferno goes up, it benefits Phoenix even more as well. So it's going to be a crazy leverage.
Like I said earlier about the pressure cooker, bro, I can feel the pressure. It's making a whistling sound. I had to just turn it off a bit because it was going to blow up. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like we're adding to this pot that's just, the pressure is getting more and more and more and more. And with your protocol, it's all going like 70% or something is going straight into buying Inferno, you know? So it's like that pressure is building up, and then you're building Flux, and you're making perhaps Flux more profitable, and that's only going to benefit Inferno. That's only going to benefit Phoenix more.
So. Yeah, and Flux's liquid supply is only at 9%. Everything else has been burned or is staked, and we're only going to be buying off market. So what happens when you inject buy pressure, which is going to be 28% of all the TitanX that comes in through the mint phase is going to go to buy Flux off market. What's going to happen when that happens, when it only has 9% liquid? It's going to send it. Hopefully, in an ideal scenario, it's going to increase its price, which means even more is going to come in for daily auctions, more for the rewards, more for Phoenix. So yeah, I think I love the way it's designed. That it's all like benefited from each other.
How do you see it interacting with Element 369? Because I think that's kind of going to benefit Flux as well.
I mean, it's a massive net benefit. Yeah, like if you had, for example, TitanX, it's kind of like competitive in their pool with Helios, Dragon X, and when Phoenix joins as well, because it's just diluting each other. But because it's the daily auctions and the amount coming in through the auctions is literally mirrored of whatever the price is of Flux, it means if E369 and Phoenix are able to push up the Flux price, everyone benefits. Stakers benefit that are already in there. E369 NFT holders benefit from more rewards. Phoenix benefits from more going to the buy and burn and the auction balance. So yeah, it's a massive net benefit. And I hope more projects build in Flux and Blaze, because the more that do, it just means the higher the price will be, the more rewards will come in, and it will benefit everyone. So
Bro, massive benefit. You're making me too bullish, man. I might have to open TitanX Premium and make some swaps right now.
Yeah,
that's insane, man. Yeah,
but it's
what kind of?
Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say, like, what kind of like participation would you be really happy with in terms of how much Titan comes in?
I really don't have any expectations. I think whatever happens, I believe in it. I'm going to be investing like everyone else day one. There's no supply allocation to anyone, so I'm going to be participating like everyone else. I just wanted to build something that I would want to invest in. So I know there's going to be something going into it, but like if no one gets into it, that's fine, because I 100% believe in its future. And when people start waking up to it, I think it's going to absolutely blow up. And I, like you were saying with Alien X and some of these other smaller cap things in the ecosystem, it's like I kind of like the idea of the small underdogs.
Yeah, I like it as well. I really like it.
Yeah,
I like something being sort of undervalued at the start, like hugely, and then it just blows up. You know, that's that's something that really excites me.
I mean,
I actually think that's something.
Yeah, go on.
sorry, I was gonna say, I think that's something Jake kind of didn't expect almost with Titan. I feel like Titan went absolutely crazy, like mining, and I think Jake didn't expect it to go so insane, like at the start. And we might even see this with Phoenix and future protocols, but yeah, man, even if you start and it's like a low valuation, the point is the system works and it's going to be like just doing its thing. And then when people clock onto it, that's starting at small cap and then people clocking onto it more later, like after mid phase or something. It's crazy.
I'm confident though. I think if people read the white paper, they see the value proposition, they see why it's there and what it can do. I think we should have good participation, but no expectations. I don't think we should.
No expectations.
Yeah.
But for anyone watching, if you're into Vault, you like that, you like DragonX, you like that, then Phoenix is, imagine had the baby, bro. Like it's it's like everything you like, and then it's just put together. It's crazy. It's kind of like Jake when he was building Titan in the beginning. He was saying like, I had the spreadsheet of all these things I liked, and let's put them into one thing. That's what got me into Titan. Like what got me into Titan was I really like the idea of buy and burn. Like in Pulse X, that was buy and burn. I really like the idea of like cap supply buy and burn. And then Jake just took the idea and made it like super insane. And then you get instantly people who are already interested in the mechanic and you get adoption from them, right? It's like what Phoenix is kind of doing something similar. Like people really like Vault. Vault's doing absolutely insane. People really like DragonX. Oh, hold on a second. There's something else. And it's like both of them put together in a very intelligent way. And, I think people would like that. I think people would like people who are in Vault, people in DragonX. They're going to like this. So,
and that's, so it was kind of with Vault, obviously, they have all the pillars coming out, which are going to benefit it massively. But the actual auction balance and the amount coming in was shrinking over time. And it wasn't sustainable for years to come, if that makes sense, on its own. But obviously it has all the pillars, so it's going to do amazing. But with this, we're kind of with our stakes, it means there's always going to be fuel there. And what I was saying before with DragonX, if it reaches a valuation that so outseeds its stakes and its rewards it's going to receive, we still have income coming in from the daily auctions that's going to mirror whatever the price of Phoenix is as well, which I can't wait for. And for the 888 a day payout in Blaze is going to be like Q4 2026, which I believe is going to be towards the bottom of the bear market or just when everything's recovering. So there's going to be a huge payout of ETH, which I can't wait for, because I think that's going to be like we were saying, what could happen with the V1. I think it's going to be a perfect storm to have that released and start buying and burning Phoenix and building up the auction balance again in the bear market.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I really like the vision of the long-term mindset. Obviously we love projects that pump crazy, but also if you really like a project, you want it to be sustainable. So I like what you've done there, and also the protocols that you're building around have obviously looked into that sustainability as well. So it's like, just super good for the future. But yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about. Like with your stakes, I think they function. Is it somewhat similar to the DragonX stake? Like when you get your how do the rewards get allocated to your stake?
Yeah, so Blaze is paid out in Ethereum. So there's going to be everything's user callable, obviously, but there's going to be you can swap Ethereum to TitanX, and there's going to be another where you swap TitanX to Inferno, and then another one where you swap Inferno to Blaze. Same with Flux, but the payouts are actually in TitanX as well, which I think is people aren't realizing that either. If you're bullish on TitanX, the payouts are just building up for the bigger payouts in Flux. And I don't know how valuable they're going to be in the future, but I think Phoenix E369 are going to have huge stakes. So we're going to benefit massively.
That's true.
And one thing that the stakes in Blaze and Flux are different to DragonX is DragonX, as you had experience of, diluted all the other stakers. With Phoenix, we are obviously it's going to dilute a little bit at the beginning, but if we can positively impact the price and push it up, there's more rewards for everyone. So even if you're a staker now, you could be looking at more rewards, even that you have a lower percentage ownership in the pool, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a huge value proposition, man. And I think like what's crazy is if Phoenix really does build up these other protocols like Flux and stuff, that would cause other people, obviously hypothetically, no expectations, but it could cause other people to like you just said, get into those flux stakes because they're not getting too diluted and they're getting bigger payouts. Like the worth of the payout's going to be better. So, and then that just benefits you, but then it benefits them. It's like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, but that's why, because if you're the way I look at it is there's no reason to be a holder of Flux or Blaze. You'd want to stake. That's the only reason you'd want to participate. But Phoenix is giving an alternative where you can still have the benefits of those protocols, but be holding a deflationary asset that just becomes more scarce over time. If you're holding Flux, you're just being diluted because during their infancy, it's such high inflation, like really high inflation. And you can see it on the charts. It's there, hyperinflation. That's at the beginning. So if you want to benefit and you believe in those projects, then Phoenix is a perfect proxy to just hold and have a scarce asset that after 28 days, there's no more supplying coming out ever.
That's massive. That's so cool. It's bro, like I feel like it's like, you know, like building a puzzle. Like all these pieces, they fit together. That's one thing I love about this system so much is we're building projects that they all benefit each other. There's like synergism, you know? It's like they all just benefit each other and you build this absolute monster. That's
and
such a...
Yeah, and with our stake,
I was gonna say, it's...
anyone can send. So with TitanX, our TitanX stake, obviously GoX and Flare are going to be sending TitanX, but it's the same with our Flux stake and Blaze stake. Anyone can send Ethereum to the Blaze stake, which will be turned into Blaze, or they can send TitanX, or they can send Blaze, or they can send Inferno. And same with the Flux stake. From our LPs, so in the LP, you can kind of decide what you want to do. We're going to burn the Phoenix that we generate, and the Inferno that we generate is just going to be recycled back to our Flux stake to just build up our Flux stake even more. But any projects in the future, so it gives a lot of angles, especially if I want to like build and develop Phoenix further. There's all these different avenues you can send more fuel to certain stakes to kind of build them up further, which I can't wait for. There's a lot of different things there that could be done.
That's so cool, man. I love how there's just more that you could do with it, you know? Like it's not like you launch and that's it. Like there's always more that you could do. There's always an opportunity for a new builder. If they want to come in and build something that benefit Phoenix, then they're gonna get participation from people who hold Phoenix because it benefits them. So it's so cool. Like it supports new protocols. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever had any thoughts about building?
I'm getting some love in the comments.
You get some love, yeah. I see.
I have. Yeah, I'm getting some love in the comments. I have, yeah. No, I've got an idea. We'll probably have to discuss it a bit, maybe off stream.
Okay.
I have an idea of building, but yeah, it's kind of in a area of TitanX actually that's not been used yet. So there's kind of like this one element of TitanX that's not been used yet, and I have an idea for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll have to discuss off stream, but it's the one thing that no one's
that's perfect. You want to do that. You want to be looking at places that no one else is, because if you have first mover advantage, it's huge. When I was deciding to build, I mean, I wasn't even deciding to build. I was just thinking, what would I want to see someone build? And I remember looking at TitanX Hub and I was just looking at Blaze and like, I was like, why is no one taking advantage of these payouts like DragonX did? I just can't believe they didn't. So that's why I built Phoenix. I was like, I'm just filling a gap in the market with a value proposition that I would want. And I think hopefully other people will see the same. But that's the perfect thing. If you see an opportunity there that no one else is taking advantage of, that you know has potential, like go for it, man. This is the time.
Yeah, man. And it's perfect because you're also going to bring that participation in from DragonX holders. It kind of like, you know, with Vault and the pillars, like I feel like when each pillar launches, people are going to FOMO in because they're going to feel like, oh, I missed the last one. People will be posting their gains. They'll be posting the chart. And then they want to get into the new one because it's going to be like, I feel like with the Vault pillars, it could really snowball. Like each one could get more insane.
I think Viper's going to be bigger than Vault for sure. Built on
Viper,
DragonX, it's the biggest holder of DragonX. It's going to be huge. It's going to be so fucking huge. I don't know if people are waking up to it, but I'm participating big.
Bro, 1 trillion DragonX, bro. That's 20% of supply. Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? 20% of supply that got put into this, and the daily auctions are still going, and it's going to carry on growing and adding, and then more pillars come out, and yeah. And like Viper might be bigger than Vault. Because
it will be.
It came after Vault, and a lot of people missed Vault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it all kind of feeds Vault, but the idea of Viper is amazing. Even with any of the other pillars, if you build on everything and one of them pops off massively, let's say when they build the ball on Inferno absolutely blows up and their holdings absolutely blow up. It's just like benefiting them massively. And that they're going to have something on pretty much every single protocol. So it's like guaranteed one's going to do absolutely insane. And I like that it's all kind of being recycled. Like everything's kind of around Vault. Like what Steve's doing is insane. The scale that he's doing it as well is just massive.
Bro, Steve is building that Roman Empire, man. He's got that foundation, he's got those pillars, he's got the wheel. When I imagine Vault, I feel like some Colosseum building with pillars and everything. Like, it's crazy, man. Do you know if they're still building all the pillars, or are they launching them differently now?
So I know they're not launching them all at once. I think it's like they might do like one per month or something similar to that. But I think there's still plans to do it, but it's been like delayed slightly. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure there's more
probably have to ask.
Steve's. Yeah, but
Stevie,
I think that's. But it makes sense because if you launch them all at once, like, but the participation isn't going to be as big as launching one at a time. You know, if you're looking,
like I said,
go on.
It's going to have that snowball effect. Like when one does well, and then there's another one coming in a month. Everyone who missed that one that did really well, they're going to want to get into the new one.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I like that, man. I really like that. Yeah, man. There's just so much going on.
I know.
Yeah,
and that's like, where do you, like, when you think about the long-term view of TitanX, where do you think it's going? Because that's what gets me most bullish. It's like all these projects are so insane and new, but we're just getting started. We're just over 1 year old. Like, how insane is that? Where do you think it's going in the future?
I'm going to give a weird analogy.
Go on.
I'm going to give a weird analogy. I feel, so basically, to cut it really short, if you look at the Roman Empire, what made the Roman Empire different in the start, what made them expand to be one of the most biggest empires in the whole world, is they didn't have special weapons or different fighting tactics at the start. They were like any other tribe. But what they did differently is, back then you would conquer a tribe and then you would like probably kill all the dudes and take captives. That's how society ran.
Yeah.
What the Romans did was like, we're going to defeat you guys, and then you can just join us. We'll give you Roman citizenship. You'll join our army, you'll join us, and we'll be friends. And if you want to, if we're fighting and you don't want to fight, well, then just join us. And this might sound like a strange analogy, but what that meant for the Roman Empire was they built so many resources that if they were to attack another tribe, they would, let's say they lost, let's say they sent a whole army, the army lost. Guess what? They have like so many different armies from all these tribes. They can just keep on sending. Eventually, the other one's going to lose, and those people know when they lose, they can join anyway. So it created this insane expansion, and I feel like TitanX is on a similar road. Like, and this is like the one thing you can't program from a tokenomic perspective is the community, and I feel like that's what our community are doing. Like, you know, Jake's vision of like going into all the other chains. That's literally that, bro. Like, we're literally gonna. Yeah. We're literally like an empire. We're gonna like expand and conquer all the chains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people are gonna study the history books. Like, oh man, TitanX Empire, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like with all the builders coming to TitanX from other chains that are gonna adopt our ethos and build the way we build, it's just gonna snowball it all so much more. And then with the machines we have, if people sell and they dump, oh, guess what? We've got like 10 million machines and they're all buying this. It's like, you know,
when you look at any individual part of the TitanX ethos of what's going on with the project, it makes you all bullish. Like, builders are incentivized to build, so there are a shitload of builders coming. Everything that tokenomics wise is making green candles, which brings more eyes, which brings more builders, and everything benefits each other. Everything's built on the base layer of TitanX. Everything else is built on top. Even when you go to X28, it's going to be a TitanX. Like, everything benefits each other. I don't think you have that anywhere else in crypto. You don't have this. Even if one project flops or does badly, everything carries each other and just makes it like indestructible. And everyone knows where TitanX is going. It's tokenomics have set the foundation for everything else. I think it's just going to be. I just can't believe that we've even found this and that this hasn't been done before. It seems so obvious now, all these tokenomics coming out, it's like, why has this not been done before? But I'm so happy that we're here to witness it. It's like we're witnessing the history books, what you said.
Bro, that's what I mean. Like, and that's why, like Jake has said it himself, like it's gonna be so hard to replicate this because it's just gonna be difficult to start a new project, build the community to where we are now. It'll just be easy to build on Titan and adopt the already pre-existing community.
Why would you not? If you're a builder looking to build, like you can either be an island in the middle of nowhere, or you could join, a massive city.
You know what I mean? It's like
that's just growing and growing. Like, why would you not?
That's what I mean. It's like join the empire, join the Roman Empire, bro. Like you don't have to fight against us, bro. You could just join it and we all win together. Like, that's how I see this. You know, that's why I made that analogy. It's just like this is like conquest, right? Like it's conquest. We're gonna take over all the chains, and then Jake's gonna do something. I don't know if he will launch his own chain or something, but you know, it's like conquer everything and then build something.
And when you think about how small it is now, I think we do have the potential to go to multiple chains. And like, even if we launch projects on different chain and it does really well, everyone's on that chain is going to be seeing these green circles pop up everywhere, like they are for the top 10 for Ethereum. I think that's just going to it's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be, I can't wait for that. 20,000
like,
users, below 20,000 users. Like, we have so much growth.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Yeah. Top 10 Ethereum. Every top 10, TitanX. Project. Go everywhere. To base, same thing. You go to Solana, same thing. You go to Avalanche, same thing. Can you imagine that? Wouldn't that be ridiculous?
It's like you can't be ignored. You can't be ignored. Maybe you can ignore them now, but it's even hard now where we've been in top 10 Ethereum with multiple projects for multiple weeks, for multiple months. Like, if that's on multiple chains, it's like, why would you not want to adopt it? And if any builders on different chains are looking to build somewhere, it's like, why would you not adopt this? Why would you not join the empire?
That's it, man. Join the empire. Don't fight against it, bro. Don't fight against it. Like, yeah, man. There's so much that you could say here, like with that. And I think that's why the community could just grow like a monster.
But and this is why, literally, it could absolutely. I mean, I think it will. I don't want to be too bullish, but like, that's the direction we're heading. There are a few black swan events that, like, for me, the reward like completely counters the risk. And if for people out there that have an idea to build, like, the reason I really jumped on to building Phoenix is I wanted to invest it first of all, but it's also you're this early. Even if your project doesn't do as well, like, you're still being carried. But if you have a value proposition that you know other people don't have, this is the time to build it before masses and masses of people come in to have something built. Like, I love the analogy of like, we're like a city, like a metropolis. And at the moment, we're just this small little farm town. If you conquer as part of that town, it's going to be setting foundations there forever. So if you have an idea, this is the best time to build.
Yeah. I mean, that there could be black swan events like Jake. If you're watching this, bro, whatever you do, please don't go on Fresh and Fit and start pole dancing, bro. Don't do that, man. I don't know if you know what I'm referencing there, but there might be some black swan events.
If Jake starts working, that's the top signal, right?
That's top signal. That if that's it, man, then like, you can build the total empire, it collapses like that, bro. Like, you know.
But I mean? Like, speaking to builders, like, I've been quite lucky to speak to multiple builders in multiple different places, and they all have the same thing, that they're like, they can't wait for the bear market because they can actually sit down, build some really, really good stuff. And that's just makes me even more bullish, because it's like, this isn't a one cycle and then gone. It's like, they're going to start building, continue to innovate, and continue to add to their projects they already have, and to benefit all users in TitanX, because it benefits TitanX. Like, I just can't wait for that.
Bro, and where is crypto going to be in the next cycle? Like, you know, it's like, how many more people are going to be in this game in the next cycle? Like, countries are buying crypto. Like, the US government, I think they're like, are they buying crypto now?
They're discussing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Like, Trump's kind of pro Bitcoin, which is huge. That's never been done in history. That is history. When people look back on Bitcoin, like a pro Bitcoin president, and like, if they do have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, you know, other countries are going to follow. Bitcoin is like, I'm pretty sure users in crypto is like the internet in like the early 2000s. Like, and it just makes sense for everyone to adopt it. So we're on this huge curve going up, and TitanX is like on this tiny wave that you know is going to grow and be carried by that overall massive wave that's already there. So, man, how can you not be bullish? How can you not be bullish?
How can you not, man? And that's why even if prices are going down like they were recently, it's like when you look at what's going on outside of the ecosystem, you see Bitcoin hitting $90,000. You see pro crypto presidents. The wider market is so crazy, and we're just this little speck on it. It's like,
but like our spec's gonna turn, like I think Jake said we're like 1%, or I can't remember who said it actually. It was like 1% of Ethereum volume, which is crazy. But I think that's when like obviously Ethereum's quite dead at that. Like the rest of the market was dead. So like maybe that figure's I've altered now, but only 1% or below 1%. Like I think we could easily be 20, 30, 40, 50. Like we could be absolutely huge. Like there's no cap to this, I don't think.
yeah. And think about as a new person to crypto, like what's your, when you're coming to crypto, like what's your alternative? Like some picture of a dog coin, like, you know what I mean? Just some,
I
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I think the unfortunate, like there's so many degens and they just retail, like most of them are just going to be jumping on stuff they don't need. No one understands crypto. That's why it's not being adopted. And like to understand TitanX and everything going on is even more difficult. So I think the learning curve for people and for users is going to be difficult, but as soon as their light bulb moment hits and they know what's going on, it will be huge. But I think they're still, it's so annoying. Like Doge is bigger valuation than Ford, the company Ford. Like
what
it doesn't even make sense.
thing.
It doesn't even
make sense. It does not make sense. It's so crazy. But that's why I think as well, one thing that community members can do is, especially ones who are super invested in this space and they understand it really well, is they could do educational type content courses, masterminds, one-to-one things, because that will help a lot of new people. Like for new people coming in, they don't even know how to use Uniswap. Like trying to explain to them TitanX is going to go like way above their head. But if there's those types of people out there and avenues for people just to get educated like quite quickly and understand the game, I think that's one thing that we should definitely invest more in.
Yeah, it's like I love infrastructure, like having something back in, like good tokenomics back in something I love more than anything. But like I do understand the meme-fi kind of narrative by people, because there are so many degens out there that don't even think or look at anything before investing. They just want to jump on any trend that happens. So I understand why there is a lot of this kind of meme-fi. It's kind of leaning into that audience, which hopefully they enter TitanX into some DGen play, and then it's like, okay, then they understand what's going on, because it does, like you said, it is difficult, and there should be some more education out there.
Yeah, people, but I guess in some respects though, like building these types of meme coins on Titan, I know like Jake may not like it too much, but then you do have projects like Inferno, for example. It's like a meme coin, but it's also like a really well made project in terms of economic perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it gives people that like meme coin thing, but then it's also actually like beneath the hood, it's like really cool, you know?
Yeah.
It's like if I could take like a Lamborghini and like give it a different model that looks really funny, but like it's a Lamborghini. Like you're still driving, it's a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? It's like
so true. And I love the marketing of all the like videos for, especially in Inferno. Their marketing is really good with all their animations and stuff. And maybe people coming in, they don't even think about what's under there, but they're like, oh yeah, this is good. This is what crypto's about. They invest, and then backing it is billions in the buy and burns and like crazy tokenomics that like they don't even understand, but is there to benefit them. Yeah.
No, that's definitely really cool. I think even JKX, I see them in the comments all the time, posting memes like JKX memes, and they're just funny because it's like baby Jake with a little like cigarette in his mouth, you know? And he's like dancing with like Mo or someone, you know? It's like
they're good at marketing on Twitter.
It is funny.
I see some good videos, which is good because
I get them a lot.
It's good, but bringing new people in, I'm sure, but like you do want something behind it, and like I think that's what's so difficult now, and why if you have an idea that other people haven't woken up to, is huge, because like you can have a good project with a good value proposition, but if it's not different and it doesn't, like there's so many options now, you really need to sell what you're doing to make it unique and special, and like this is going to outperform this is going to outperform these other things. That's like the only way you can kind of tweak it, because there's so much competition now. So especially for you, whatever this idea, when we end stream, I'm interviewing you, mate. I want to know about it.
Yeah, no, it's something that I've actually thought about this literally since Titan launched. So it's been in my head for a while, but I need to discuss it with people and refine it, because I'm sure even with you, like when you discuss Phoenix with people, you're like, oh, actually,
we started off. I wanted to build on Dragon X to start off, but it just didn't make sense, because everything, like, you'd be taking away the rewards from Blaze and Flux, but this way it's like everything's recycled. Like 100% of the rewards are like going to benefit and buy it, and yeah, so this made more sense. But yeah, definitely when you build a project, there's so many small details that you change, so many. It's a different product by the end of it, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and when you do that, you go through that process and you build a protocol that's it's an innovation, and even if it's not completely new itself, it builds upon what's previously come and makes it better. Like another example of that would be Titan Farms. Like what they've done is so good, bro.
I know, it's insane. Like I don't think it's been done anywhere else where it's that. And even I love the idea of protocols building on Tink as well. I think Eric needs to push as hard. I think there's already grants, like he said, there's a grant out there for any project to build on Tink. But the idea of like making that, like eating up that supply to make Tink more expensive, to make rewards better for everyone in the farms, which benefits like the entire ecosystem. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Even Ouroboros is coming out. Like, I feel like we've got the infrastructure for like 100,000 users. It's like we've got like, it's like a fairground. We have all the rides ready, people waiting, like staff waiting to let them in, but we're just waiting for the crowds to kind of like come in and really see everything explode.
It's like Winter Wonderland, bro. Have you been?
I haven't been.
You haven't been. You know, like they're building it for ages. You just see it built there.
Yeah.
And you know, like when those doors open,
yeah,
money.
But it's strange with TitanX, because it's like, is that going to happen? Even if not many users come in, I think we're obviously still going to do amazing. But it's like, that's when it's so difficult to put a price like out there where you think TitanX would reach, because it really depends on users coming in. And there's no way of finding out. Like a big YouTuber could just find TitanX and do a video on it, and boom, there's like thousands more people coming in. It's so difficult to predict.
I feel like there's a lot of people out there, like big YouTubers, who they definitely know about it. They might even hold a small bag of it. And then what I feel like could happen is when we do get really good green candles, they're now gonna start noticing it more. Like the trading volume's insane and all that, but when we start getting like really good green candles, they'll notice it more and more and more. And then they might eventually make a video on it. I don't know, because I know there might be some contingencies for people. They want money to do stuff, but
I think what like the best marketing is green candles. Everyone in crypto is looking for the next big thing that's going to blow up. And even if worst case scenario, no more users come in, we're still going to do amazing here. Like worst case situation, no more users come in, but all the buy and burns, all the machines working away, we still do amazing. So like that's worst case situation. The best case is like, we go into the mainstream of kind of the crypto audience and the crypto YouTubers, because you can't ignore the success that's going to come from it. Like we say, going omni-chain, like all these different projects built, like on base, there's just a random one that pops off. If there's a community there, they're going to be looking at it and be like, what does this even come from? And then they're going to research it, and then it brings a whole new user base. So worst case situation, we do good, but I think best case, we still do like absolutely. You can't even fathom how good it's going to be, you know?
Absolutely insane. And I think like you said, green candles, like when Titan popped off in the early days, the user base grew so quickly because of those green candles. So when we get that again, and there's positive mining and all that type of stuff, I don't know, man. I haven't got enough nicotine pouches for that. I need to buy some more.
You know what? I've never really like tried nicotine, but like I know it's like so beneficial. Like if you really want to zone in, like
I definitely, if you do, like if you maintain it well and you do smaller amounts.
Yeah, but how that's like so difficult, isn't it? It's one of the most addictive.
So hard. It's so hard. Like I used to smoke shisha, and then like my friend he gave me like a nicotine pouch, and I just blew my head off. And that blew my head off. And then, you know, and then it's like, it's a much safer way to get your nicotine than smoking. But yeah, and then you just start going on it, and then, but yeah, that's the thing with nicotine. Like, your tolerance builds quite quickly, and then all of a sudden you're doing like double, triple what you were doing before. So
it's crazy with stuff like caffeine though, and stuff with nicotine that can like actually like make you more cognitive and give you like after a coffee, I feel like I can like be so focused, laser focused on any task. It's like I love like it's like biohacking, isn't it? Like really understanding that stuff. I need to look more into it, to be honest. Like I think Jake's really clued in on it.
I need to rewatch the annual stream we did. I was actually there, but I need to rewatch it because the biohacking section is intense. There's so much to learn. But with caffeine, like when I fast during like Ramadan, like we can't drink anything for like maybe the whole day. So you wake up in your morning, you have to going without caffeine, like it's so hard at the start. But then like when you have your first, even just a cup of tea after the fasting, it's just, bro, it's like it just my mind just explodes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like the first time you had the nicotine pouch. It's like, wow.
Well, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I hope no one clips that. But yeah, it's crazy with the nicotine pouches. Yeah. And then you need to start thinking like you're doing a task. You're like, oh, what does this feel like with a bit of nicotine? And then that's when you know it's off the rails.
It's bad. Yeah. I would like to ask a question. Like, obviously, you're in TitanX, you're in crypto. What is your main goal with being here, and why have you decided to carry like and start streaming and really be focused in on crypto? What's your kind of goals to do with it?
Sure. I think the goal with being in TitanX obviously relates to the goal of being in crypto in the first place, which is this is the fastest appreciating asset class in the whole of human history. And if you position yourself in the right place, it's just life-changing. It's life-changing for you. I'm actually not like, when it comes to things like money, I don't care about having so much money. It's, for me, the biggest thing I want from it is my time. Like, I feel if you become time rich, then you can actually start like leveling up every other aspect of your life. So being in TitanX and being in crypto is obviously getting financially free is amazing, but the real goal of that for me is getting time back. And then I feel like I can really just focus on every single other aspect of my life, look after the people I love, you know.
Yeah. I feel like no one knows exactly what they want to do, but like you said, a huge step is to buy time, and that is expensive. So you have to either work your way up in a career, but obviously that takes time, but you have to be 100% committed, or you can like invest in like in property. But like you said, the best asset is crypto. So I think that's why you see like it's so huge, and just going to get bigger.
You know, when people ask you this question, I'm sure like everyone's been asked, when they're like, if money wasn't a thing, what would you do with your life? And I feel like a lot of people would really go into hobbies, or they'll do things they just enjoy to do and love to do, you know? And I feel like, to me, that's the best value proposition of becoming financially free, is when you do have that freedom from that perspective, then money is not an object on things. And you can just, if you have a genuine passion, you can go back to uni, become a professor. You can, things that before you would have been thinking, oh man, if I went to uni and studied philosophy, like I'm not really going to make any money. I won't be able to like help my family, my loved ones, etc. But when that's not a problem, it's like, I feel like as a person, you can really just do what you love to do.
Yeah.
So for me, that's like the key thing. You'll probably find me in a jiu-jitsu gym somewhere, bro.
Yeah.
You'll be welcome to come.
Yeah, man. I really want to start. I think it's no brainer. I need to.
If you ever come to London, and you want to train, hit me up. And,
I will.
I'll take you to the gym. There's some real good guys coming out of my gym. Some good guys. Yeah, like some very good. I think some guys will get to UFC. Like, no joke.
Really?
Yeah, that I trained with. There's some guys like out there, man, and they all come from different areas of the world. Like, there was this one Kurdish Iranian guy I was training with. This guy, man, they're all like, like people talk about training with Khabib.
Yeah,
it's like that. Like, like when we're training, this guy, like, he grabs me from behind and he just whispers in my ear, like, "This is not good, brother. This is not good." Like that, yeah. This guy just
You're just saying like,
picked me up. Yeah, I was there like,
Yeah.
oh no. And he picks me up and he just flips me over the back. There's so much talent in the fight game.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, man, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll come down. I'll get beaten up for a few sessions.
And, it'll be a good session, bro. But yeah, man. Also, Marco, if you're gonna do a TitanX UFC or boxing event, hit me up. Hit me up.
That would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
You reckon you'd have a good chance against everyone else? Sounds like you got the skill.
In the crypto industry, I wouldn't get too big, but yeah, I think it'll be cool. I'll train. I'll just dedicate like 10 hours a day training. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. How did you feel about John Jones's win?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sweet and sour one. Like, obviously, he got the job done. Like, well, he got the job done, man. I mean, John Jones looks so good when he fights, but I feel like it was an old Stipe, and I think we would all love to see that Tom Aspinall fight. I know he doesn't really want to do it, but
you know what? I think he knows it's going to happen, but he's doing all this so he can get a bigger check. Like, he's like, oh, I really don't want to do it. I'm only going to do it for life-changing money. Like, like, it's the biggest fight. It's gonna, like, it makes the most sense. I think he's doing that. I think he's being smart about it, in my opinion. But like, it doesn't make sense also what he's saying. Like, why would he put his whole legacy on the line for some like kid half his age who like has an insane record? Like, it would be an amazing fight to watch, to be fair. Like, I would love that. Who would you put your money on?
I actually would put my money on Aspinall.
Really?
I know that's crazy, but I just feel like Aspinall's like way younger. He's bigger. He weighs more, and he has been in heavyweight with real beasts for a lot longer than John Jones did. I think when John Jones beat Cyril Gane, I was like, that's crazy, and the way he did it. So that's a really good win.
It was great. That was like undisputed GOAT.
Oh man, that was crazy. The way he just destroyed Gane with that.
Yeah,
it was mental. Like, because everyone thought Gane was like this like next champion, and then.
But I think that would be the same with anyone. I can't lie. I think John Jones is clear. I think he's I think he's unbeatable.
Okay.
Well, maybe you know more about it than me, like the actual techniques and stuff. But like from the outside, that's just the way I look at it. I mean,
yeah,
when I say 9 champions and like never lost, like that is, he gets all the glaze from Dana White for a reason, I think.
Definitely. I mean, if your kid is fighting for their life and you invite Dana White, don't invite Dana White. He's going to say the best fighter in the world is John Jones. Have you seen those memes?
Yeah.
Those are so funny, man. But with that fight, it's like, when I say Tom Aspinall, like it's like probably percentage. Like, if you're saying what percent do you give each one, like maybe 52% to Tom. Like, I just feel like he's younger, he's bigger, his speed, bro. Like the way he's knocked out like all these guys, he has real speed, man. In those pants. But at the end of the day, it's John Jones. The guy trains with some of the best people in the world. Like, he's been training jiu-jitsu with Gordon Ryan, who I don't know if you know him, but he's like the GOAT of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's super chill, dude. He actually, like, I actually DM'd that guy and he responded. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy.
No way.
Yeah, I DM'd him like years ago when I started training. But yeah, like when you've got a camp like that behind you, you got like the brain of John Danaher, you got the brain of Gordon Ryan, you got all these people behind you. It's tough to beat, man.
Yeah, but for sure.
How did you see if it was to happen? How would you see Khabib versus GSP?
Khabib, man.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched the documentary of him versus Conor, and like obviously everyone, I mean, Conor was kind of a favorite, but like you could just tell the whole time Khabib was calm and just knowing that he was gonna absolutely destroy him. I think Khabib is like, I get why he retired, and I do understand his record's like a bit questionable, but I still think he has the talent to back it. I think he would Right now, are you talking about right now? Or are you talking about their primes?
Primes.
Oh, primes. Oh, that's a different question, isn't it? Because
yeah, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
I feel like I would agree with you. I think what Khabib did and what he brought to the game was a whole new style of basically grappling and wrestling that people hadn't seen before. Because what Khabib did is he innovated the ground and pound game. That's basically what he did, and he was the best in the world at it. He would get you in that position. He wouldn't even try and submit you. He'll just punch you in the face and hold you down for 5 minutes straight.
They called it like he was just more people, like a bear would. He was just
people.
Yeah.
He would bring like you said, he would be like, "I'll drag you into deep waters, and you're not gonna be able to move, and it's gonna get punched in the face."
Yeah,
and like have a good day, bro.
Like you said, that's a skill set that no one else has. If you get to the ground with him, you're just like you're dead. You're screwed.
Like what MMA does to jiu-jitsu is it gets jiu-jitsu and it shrinks it, because obviously in pure jiu-jitsu you're not getting punched in the face. So when there's punches involved, it does change the game a lot. And these Sambo guys, they have that style to them. And I think with Khabib, I know there's question marks on his record, but I feel like his team and what like Islam Makhachev has done and these things, it cements Khabib's legacy more.
Bro, yeah. I think he has one of the best legacies. Even that he like avoided some things here and there. And like his record like had some easy fights on. But I still think when you look back on it, it's like unbeatable. I mean, he's only lost a few rounds, right? If that.
Arguably.
Yeah, exactly. Like
bro, never been cut, never been like proper bruised, never been dropped. Pretty much won every round of every single fight. Is just different.
That's where you gotta go, man. Wherever they train in Russia, you need to get there. That's the place to be, because they're like
I know
they have multiple like UFC people coming out of there, high level as well.
Yeah. I know people that have trained up there as well.
Really?
If you're like I said at my gym, there's people who are coming up, and they've trained with Khabib and his team. So yeah, man, it's
mate. You got to get financially free, and then you send it there. We want to see you in the UFC.
That's it, bro. Cool. I'm gonna do a whole camp in Dagestan.
I love it. Man, we've been going for. Go on.
Yeah, okay. I know we'll probably have to close off soon because we've been there for a long time.
2.5 hours. That's gone so quick.
I know, and it's gone like this, bro. But what I was gonna say is, I don't know if you've seen that interview with Islam Makhachev. He's like speaking to, I might be DC, and he's saying to him like, just send your kids to Dagestan, and just don't talk to them for a whole summer.
He's like, send them 6 months, 6 months, and he's like, no, maximum 2 weeks. He's like, no, they're not gonna do anything. 6 months.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah. Man, this has been a good stream, though. Really good stream.
Such a good stream, man. I would love to do more, and
for sure,
yeah, man.
And like I said to you in the back rooms, literally reach out to streamers. Everyone, this community is fucking awesome. Like, I'm sure if you reach out to Mo, you've already spoke to him now. He could do a stream with you. Multiple people.
What guy? Yeah.
You're in exactly my position, like a month and maybe a month and a few weeks ago. Like, it is perfect. And like, I love what you're doing. Like, actually, you're so heavily invested that you want to learn more. You want to speak to people. You want to get different perspectives through streaming. Like, carry this on. Like, this is like, I think it is a huge benefit, like a huge benefit to learn, like a learning curve and everything. So I'm honored to be your first stream, and I hope to see you.
Bro, like more. I'm honored for you to have me on here, man. Yeah, it's crazy. I love what you're doing as well, building and innovating, and I think doing it at your age as well, bro. Hats off to you, man. Hats off to you. A lot of guys your age, they're just wasting their life. So, what a guy.
Yeah. And I'm just going to quickly plug Phoenix. We're in the first auction now. We got our audits. We've got our auditors from Eric himself. He told me the best ones in the space, because it was unfortunate what happened with Lotus. So we're taking no shortcuts. We've got 2 of the best auditors, and another one that's quite decent as well. So one of the first one's underway at the moment, and we're aiming for launch early December / mid-December. It should be early December. So it's not that far until Phoenix is launched. Yeah.
That's one to get the family in, man. I'm gonna call my dad, my mom, my girlfriend, everyone.
I love it, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I just saw the views, 269, like live views. That's crazy.
That's awesome. That is awesome for the first stream as well. That's huge.
Wow, man. Thank you for that. Cool. So I think we'll wrap up. Thank you everyone who's been here. Thank you for the participation. I've even had people that I know in real life being here. We've got James, obviously the Mo, big shout out. The guy jumped on. We have also a very special man here, Keto Natural, my father.
Legend.
So thank you for jumping on the stream, and Morpheus, like all these guys, like thank you for that.
Keto, your dad is good on Twitter, man. He's doing some good posts. He's active as well. I like it.
He's on it. He's
It must be so good having someone like IRL that you can just speak to everything about.
Like every single day. It's like we wake up, we're both the same. We'll have like whole night of thinking about it. We'll wake up, we'll make like a tea or coffee, and we'll just sit down and just talk for ages about the whole ecosystem. So
that's so awesome, man. That's so awesome.
Cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. Thank you. And we'll be back again. Take care.
Cheers, guys.